We are live. We are live. Let's check it out. Welcome to the festival with SBS and Pals live from ATC Studios. There you go. There you go. Now let's give them a little stand-up right now, a little weekly Brody stand-up. They love it. They love hearing a little stand-up on the pre-pod as we set this thing up.
I read at a 4th grade level on the elliptical. Guys, great news, I just booked a cruise.
I just booked a cruise.
Never done.
Two things I've never done. Read a book or been on a cruise. Nothing. We're pre-podding right now, Eric. Is Benji here?
I'm a human being.
I had the headphones on. I didn't hear what you said, Eric. But our guest is here.
Neighborhood watch. In neighborhoods I don't even live in. Just
Crowd's laughing. Late at night, crowd is laughing.
2 cell phones.
2 cell phones
And I'm looking for 30-year-olds
on skateboards.
with
Backpacks.
skateboarding,
Skateboarding. Look at the crowd having a good time.
BMX bikes.
Because I'm making faces. I'm looking in their eyes. I'm being in the moment. I'm showing vulnerability.
What year is that one? House one. Speaking of house, I'm the house drummer at the Guitar Center. Very rhythmic. I love music. I love hip hop. I listen to Bow Wow and Ludacris. My uncle loved music.
Loved music.
He was cremated at Sam Ash.
Crowd's laughing. The crowd is laughing. That's what you get on a Stephen Brody Stevens show. You get jokes, you get laughter, you get interaction. This is from a late night spot at the Comedy Store. They've already seen.
If you want to go, go. I've lost money in the cryptocurrency game.
Cryptocurrency.
I was trying to buy $8.18 worth of Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, $8.18.
I bought 8
Bitcoins. 8.18 Bitcoins.
8.18 Bitcoins.
I made a mistake.
You know how much 8.1? You know how much 8.18 Bitcoins is?
$2,500 at least.
$2,500.
That's what I did.
And it went down.
It went down.
And I was holding on.
Holding on for dear life. HODL. Hold on for dear life.
And I lost money.
And I lost the money.
You're looking at a guy here who doesn't have much.
Doesn't have
My
much.
back is against the wall.
My back is against the wall.
And I've got nothing to lose.
And I've got nothing to lose.
I'm a good guy. I donate to the YMCA. I donate
Blood, blankets, and sperm
on my blanket.
on my blanket. Back into the jokes.
I've never seen or heard my parents.
You know what I'm saying? It's like back into the jokes. That's what we got. Now let's, and I think Sound Effects Theater's ready to go. So I'm almost ready to start this thing. Emma, can I check the camera angles real quick for this pre-pod right now? And I am pharmaceutical free. We all know that. We all know that Brody is pharmaceutical free these days. So every show I do is a struggle. Every step I take is met with resistance. Every breath I achieve is a victory in its own accomplishment. Okay, so we have a couple guests today. I'm going to go ahead and start this. I'm almost ready to start. If Emma, do you need to do mic checks at all for these guys? So Emma will do mic checks on the fly. We have a couple guests. We're going to have fun. I'm just going to talk. And the thing for me is just to talk right now. Just to talk. Yes, to have some focus. Yes, but I think I just need to do it. It's like get up and go and then play with it along the way. Maybe I'll look into this camera. We'll see. For right now, or I'll look ahead here. Just depends on where I'm looking, or I can just like close my eyes. I can do that also. We'll see if we can have echo chamber might be in play today. Echo chamber may be in play today. That's cool. We have a couple guests. That's the difficult thing with this. Is it a podcast? Is it a Twitter? Is it a pre-podcast? Is it a Periscope? Is it a video? Is it an MP3? Is it a live thing? What are you doing? We don't know. We have no idea what you're doing. I'm setting up right now. I'm letting you into what's going into my head right now. I am setting up right now for a live podcast that we're taking place. And there's one of our guests, and there's our second guest. They're both here. They're both here. The monologue just got shorter. It just got shorter. And we have somebody delivering waters. Okay, I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to say not to deliver water. But you delivered water. I'll take it. We're in a pre-pod right now, guys. We are over Twitter. Nothing's recorded. Just going out over Twitter. So don't say any. You hit the camera. That's okay. If it's going to happen, it's
right now.
It happened during a pre-pod. That's what. Garrick, don't touch the camera.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
I mean, you're not supposed to touch equipment, Eric. That's like rule number 1 of a podcast studio. Would I be right with that, Emma? Somewhat, a little bit. Okay.
Turn somebody else against Eric.
Oh, look at Matt coming in here. Well, you know what? You don't know the dynamic.
I think he does.
I think I did, actually.
All right, I'll do a quick monologue, and then we'll just talk. And you've both been on the podcast before, and I'm just trying to do stuff. I need to take action. And if you guys want to take over the whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm. You got it. You get it.
And this is it's a 30-minute podcast. No I'm kidding.
I just got excited when you said that.
I know, maybe a little bit, but it's funny for two different. It's funny because you had to say it's 30 minutes, and you really do want to go. And it's also funny that I said it's 30, even though we'll do 45 to an hour to 2 hours.
45 to an hour.
You never know.
You never know. What if we get on some, good shit?
Could happen.
Can't stop.
Could happen. Okay, we are pre-podding right now. The guests are in place. I'll do a 2-minute monologue, something of that nature. Then I'll bring you guys out, and we'll do it. You've been here? You guys have been here before?
Not this exact studio.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Emma?
Yeah.
Emma, so I can start when I say that we'll go to the podcast. So right now we are on only Twitter right now. They can hear him on Twitter. Eric, can you check on Twitter? Can you actually leave the room and go on Twitter?
Why does he have to leave the room?
Because then he can't hear. Because I need him to be sequestered. I'm kind of joking, but not. Meaning if he's in the room and he hears us talking, it's going to come through.
Oh, God, yeah.
I want him to be completely a listener, away from the action. He'll be let back in.
Yeah.
At the 1 hour mark.
Does he have to donate to your Patreon?
Yeah. Look, here's the deal. We'll talk about it on the show. Don't worry, I'm not mean to Eric. And that's
He's not like a ding-donger to you, is he?
No. Are we going to go that route? Okay, how does it sound?
It's great.
Did it sound good?
Yeah.
You can hear it sounded.
I heard you ridiculing me fine on the album.
But I wasn't ridiculing you. Why are you saying that? Did I ridicule Eric?
Not really.
Why? See, why would you say that? I didn't even ridicule you at all. At all. Did I ridicule Eric?
I have a question for Eric.
But we'll save it for the podcast.
No, you didn't.
You want to do it for the pre-pod? You're on a pre-pod right now.
Your parents must have been really nice to you growing up, right?
My parents were great, yeah.
Yeah, I can tell.
How can you tell?
Because he has no tools for dealing with Brody.
But they're simple. I'm helping Eric out with simple gestures that will help me and help him and help everybody.
I
I'm trying to
know.
help him.
I'm not saying you're a bad parent. I'm just saying.
Not a parent. This is like Big Brothers of America. Okay, listen. So that was a pre-pod. We'll now
Wait, what about your monologue? Is that on the real pod?
That's on. You think I'm gonna do a monologue on a pre-pod?
I don't know your format at all. I've never even heard of a pre-pod.
Of course you haven't, because I'm different. I'm unique. Do you feel claustrophobic there, Matt? With my books, Eric.
I think I'm all right. I mean, yeah.
Could you possibly put my keys in wall? I appreciate that. I don't think I'm going to use the speaker. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I did not ridicule you at all.
I was just joking. It was a bad joke.
Well, why would you joke on a pre-pod?
Save it for the real pod.
But the thing was, I wasn't even ridiculing you.
I used the wrong word.
I was actually sticking up for you. Thank God we don't record pre-pods. I'd have to go back and check the tape. All right. Okay, here we go. We are locked in. I'm going to go right.
Do we have to?
You can do whatever you want. If you want to sit, stay, we'll see what happens. My main thing is doing the podcast, having guests, having an energy, and see where that goes. That's my main objective. So in terms of like format and all these other little things, I'm going to do them, but my main thing is actually having guests. So I've already achieved that.
So can we go home now?
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Emma, we will now begin the podcast. When I get hit 3, so I'll go 4, and then when I say 3, then we record. So when they come in on the pod, they're hearing 3, 2, even though I'm going to say 4, and then boom.
Gotcha.
I need to have music also. I should.
Is that what that is?
No, this is not music. I should have on my old podcast I had a song. Clownvis did the song Festival of Friendship with Stephen Brody Stevens.
Why don't you use that?
I don't have an MP3 player. How do you get the file?
Can't you do it in post? Just put the song in post?
Post Malone?
No, like later on.
That's too much work.
It is?
I think.
Okay.
Can't they just make it? If they can make podcasts like Instagram stories, like the tools and the ease of it,
right.
I'd be pretty okay.
One button.
I would be verified on podcasts.
Don't you have a guy helping you? Why don't you just tell him to do it?
He booked you. That's his job.
That's all he has to do.
Eric, could you handle more responsibility?
No, I don't think he can. Save that for the podcast. All right, here we go. Okay, here we go. 4, record. 3. And Emma, I didn't mean to push you around. That was a push around. We are now pre-podding. We are pre-podding. Here we go. 4, and we record. 3, 2, 1. Yes, you got it. Hey, everybody, it's me, Stephen Brody Stevens, back here again with a Festival of Friendship in the Burbank home of all things comedy. It's episode number 50-something here with a podcast that I have never promoted or have not booked guests until recently or sporadically, and that's what I'm doing now. So I'm booking guests. Last week's show was fun, and it went well, and it showed me the power of having guests. 1 guest, 2 guests. 2 was great. It was the boost I needed, and I got that, to be honest with you, from the All Things Comedy Festival in Phoenix. I did that. We had a bunch of people at the live show on the panel on my podcast, and it was fun. It was cool, and all we really did different was, book guests. So, and that I think that's what this show needed. And I needed some help with just making myself accountable at times. And we had Eric, who's done a great job booking guests. Last week we had Tony Henchcliffe and Earl Skakel. It was great. I felt good. It was nice to socialize. And then I went on and I did Joey Diaz's podcast. I got asked to be a part of Ian Edwards' Comedy Central special taping, which is being produced by Bill Burr and All Things Comedy. And I think it's a synergy thing on that one. That's a synergy thing of me doing All Things Comedy Festival, saying retweeting All Things Comedy stuff.
I saw that today, and I was really actually retweeted it. And
You did?
yeah, I usually don't do really anything on Twitter, but I saw that. I was so excited. Ian Edwards, long overdue.
It's his second special, though. I
Yeah,
think.
he's had a special.
Okay, but
I get
you know what I
you're saying.
mean?
Is his
Yeah,
mic
he's-
on? Is Benji's mic on? We have Benji and Matt Edgar here. They've not had the proper introductions yet. I can't really hear Benji's voice coming out of my head. Benji, you want to do a sound check?
Check one.
Emma,
2.
how is he sounding? She says that Benji sounds fine, but I don't hear him very well in my headphones. Matt, let me hear you.
toot toot, yes.
See, now I could really hear Matt. Now you go, Benji.
Hi, my name's Benji.
Are they both at the same mic level?
Am I louder?
You may just be louder.
Maybe it could be your headphones.
Well, why would he sound lower and you sound louder?
It's probably some sort of audio thing. But
That's better. I think Emma just made an adjustment. Should be good. That means yes.
Right.
So I was right. No, I'm kidding. Okay, but hey, I got to watch out. I don't want to step on anybody's toes here at All Things Comedy and here in Burbank, California. There's a lot of a lot of dynamic egos involved with podcasting these days. No. I'm here to have fun. I'm here to I have to go for it. I have to push it. I need to socialize. I need to, and it's not even about getting numbers. It's just about doing it. That's all I need to do. And I think booking guests, showing my face at the Comedy Store, being at home on Twitter, being at Starbucks alone on Instagram, it's not really all that healthy. If you're writing, to say, hey, I'm writing, even if you could probably I could probably write with somebody. I should make an appointment to say, hey, I should write with somebody. What I'm getting at is you're seeing the evolution of Stephen Brody Stevens growing up. I'm learning to be an adult. Maybe it's too late. I don't know. I am off meds for the last 4 months, so my mind is clear. I don't have brain fog. My confidence is, I'm building it up. I have to build it up naturally. And I'm building it up by being social.
I think that's really important.
And we're going to get into that on the podcast. We're on the podcast now. You're
talking about a different podcast?
We're on a post pre right now. We're on a post pre pod, getting ready to. We're in the pod now. We are in a pod, and we will get to this good. I can tell it's going to be a good conversation because I have 3 friends, 2 that I'm looking at, who are local guys. And I think Los Angeles with the fires, that's going to be a great topic.
Is that why you booked us together?
Yes, I needed Southern California comedians. We knew something was going to go. When did you get booked for this? Before or after the fires?
Before.
Well, there you go. Something happened.
It's fire season. We should probably get Benji and Matt here pronto.
I mean, what are the odds?
Did you start the fires for your podcast to have something to talk about?
I don't know. Maybe I have some embers. I wouldn't joke about fire because that's a scary thing, and I will get into that. What you're hearing now is Stephen Brody Stevens. He's here doing a live podcast. You can find it on iTunes. We need to promote this thing. I need to do promotions. I need to do advertising. I need you guys to pass out flyers for this podcast.
You were just saying you only need to do this to stay social, and now you're putting all this stuff on yourself. You said, I don't want to step on toes, and I just want to be social. And now we're passing out flyers. You need advertising.
Yeah.
I like the social
So
thing.
I'm pushing it too. The flyers are passing out flyers is not a social exercise.
I would say, I guess it is.
Pass out flyers with me.
Where?
You mean bark?
No, I do flyers at the Gelson's parking lot. I put them on cars.
I tattled at someone at a salad bar recently.
For doing that?
For doing what?
Stealing food. But you said Gelson's and it reminded me.
Oh,
of that.
I did Gelson's salad bar yesterday. On Tuesdays, it's $2
You
off.
tattled?
Yeah.
I want to hear about that. Well, and you know what? Save that for
The pod.
the pod.
Yeah.
Save that for the pod.
One
there
thing
yet.
really quick.
Yeah.
My new thing, instead of making salads, I will make stuff at a salad bar that I can then just put in a stir fry when I get home. So instead of making a salad, I'll do like spinach and quinoa. And, I'll make the stir fry and then I'll go home.
So you
cook
make it there to go.
Yeah.
That's not in the spirit of salad bar.
Yeah, salad bar. You eat that shit
No,
there.
and then I've told some people about it, and I think some girls do it. Girls are hipper than us at salad bars, and a few females I know said, "Oh yeah, I do that all the time." But I thought I discovered something, but I didn't.
I think it's pretty cool.
It's super cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole new way to use, it's almost like a loophole.
I mean, let's say if you get a small container and you fill it up like of garbanzo beans,
Yeah.
you know, and then you go, is that more or less expensive than a can of garbanzo beans?
I bet you it's kind of more.
It's probably more.
Yeah, but you're making a meal. So I'll do like quinoa and chicken and spinach and vegetables and all this stuff. I'll go home, throw it in a pan with some like fun Asian sauce, cook it till it gets all good,
Yeah.
and then you have like a healthy, good tasting thing.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool thing. But you have to
have
do
a stove.
You have to have a stove.
You
You
need
have
a
to
stove.
walk.
You don't need a wok. I'll just put it in a pan and cook it.
No, walk home.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like I walk a lot. I'm a walker.
Yeah.
Like
you
Walker.
don't want to have to walk a few blocks with salad.
Walker. Exactly. I eat it at Gelson's. And you know who I saw at Gelson's yesterday?
Let me guess.
By the way, you're listening to All Things Comedy. This will be available on iTunes.
This is like a members only drive. It's like
I need
Brody,
to promote.
they're already listening. The only people you don't need
And they
to tell
know
how
if
to
you-
listen to the show are the people listening right now.
We have people on Twitter. We might be getting linked through a Facebook page.
And it's not like with podcasts isn't like radio where you're just like pressing seek, and then like
You don't
it just
think so?
you popped up, so you have
Yeah.
to like remind them.
They're-
They went on because they saw it's the Festival of Friendship with Brody Stevens, and they wanted to hear that. So you don't have to say your name anymore.
Well, I'm trying to establish. I'm trying to get. Okay, so you're the kind of guys who go, oh, we don't need batting practice today. We don't need to get our reps in. We don't need to get our
No, but
positive.
someone's already listening. So when you go listen on iTunes, someone is like, I already am, or I listen a different way. And now you're just advertising iTunes.
But I've never have okay, look at these two. I don't promote the show. I'm telling you, I've never said
Yeah, but
iTunes on this pod.
Wait,
I've done 55 podcasts. I don't think I've said iTunes once. So I'm making up for it.
Okay, but you don't promote the show on the show. You already got what
in the
you need.
beginning or the end, maybe.
You know what? I felt like doing it right there. You hit them right there. Everything's like 15-minute episodes. I'm creating a new form of my format. A new
Okay.
form of my format.
I like it. I mean, I'm open to it.
It could be good for sound clips later if you have someone in post. They can pull out your advertisements in the middle of the show and then use them in other
It's a lot of work. I got to find somebody, and that's what Eric is working on, getting an editor who will help us out.
You ought to remember the things that you interrupted us about.
I have to take notes?
I think you should.
What is this turning into?
You get him to take the notes.
His name is Eric, not him.
But I mean that, like if you're just gonna sit there.
why? Yeah, why don't you take notes? What are you doing?
I just was waiting for him to introduce you guys to the show.
I haven't even had a chance yet.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is there's like two different things that we brought up, and you're like, okay, we're gonna talk about that on the pod, and like I feel like we're not.
What do you mean we're not going to talk about
I think
this?
we're gonna forget.
Well, that's what Eric's here for.
But he.
What did you want to talk about? The fire stuff? You were booked because of the fires?
No, you wanted to talk about it because you said, "Oh yeah, because we're all from here, so like, how do we feel about the fires?" This is a great topic, but not yet. We'll do that on the pod.
But that's what you have to do. You have to set it up. You have to, go over your greetings, do a junior. I did a junior monologue, but talk about what's happening, the weather.
All
Talk
right.
about the movie box office. I have a feel good story I do, and then we do sports. Then we do a political announcement. Then I introduce the guests.
All right, let's start with the box office. How's it doing?
I don't know. I want to see that new Halloween movie. Have you seen Halloween?
It's not that new.
Oh.
You mean this one's new. The franchise
but
is
it's
old.
been out like a few weeks.
I don't
now.
know.
right.
Here's the deal. There's a lot of good movies. And that was our movie segment. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Steven Brody Stevens. We have a guest here, a friend. He's been on the podcast, Festival of Friendship, 2 or 3 times. Some controversy, maybe.
You remember?
Of course I do.
Oh,
What's the controversy?
Oh, you would fit right in.
yeah, you would.
What happened?
I was saying that I don't think there were many. And times have changed a little
Yeah,
bit,
I'm excited,
but not
to get
a whole
into this.
lot.
Yeah.
I spoke on. I said I don't think there's many new Jewish comedians like that are making it as a stand-up post social media.
Right.
That's true.
Just like
Oh,
you know,
wow.
back in the day, a lot of comedians were just Jewish, and they're only doing stand-up and becoming huge stars. It was like a lot of Jews in
Yeah,
comedy.
it used to be more Jews
Right.
getting careers.
And what do you remember my side of this discussion?
You didn't
Because it was
totally
like
agree
it
with
became
me.
an argument.
And you said I cut you off.
No, I didn't. But you made it like you established that I didn't agree with you. I never said I didn't agree with you. I said I don't think because you blame it on being Jewish. You think the man's holding the Jew down.
No, what I said, what I believed is that for a stand-up comedian, if you're relying on like, because when you're a stand-up, you're going on the road, you're performing. They're buying into you. They're not buying, not the TV guys. They're buying into you. And I feel that it's hard with social media these days to build up your own fan base, especially with like Middle America based off stand-up. I'm a stand-up. I'm not necessarily a Jewish stand-up. I'm a stand-up. I'm Jewish. That's what I do. I think that's a hard road, and I don't think there's many of those stories of the new guys. Like I could say one new guy, and then an example of a guy who is doing it would be Gary Goldman. But he's still not a household name, but he's doing theaters now, and he's a Jewish guy. He's a stand-up, and he's
been
known
doing comedy for so long, though.
But he didn't really get big until, I would say, after social media was going. Like Mark Maron was already a name. You know, David Cross was already a name. Dave Attell.
I don't know if I'd agree. I feel like didn't Gary Gulman get big with the Last Comic Standing stuff, and then the Tourgasm show? That wasn't like.
I feel that was after that was MySpace.
Right, maybe, but not like
But I'm saying guys like Todd Barry, they're already in. Mark Maron, in.
Yeah.
Some of the other Jewish guys, or Jeff Garland, in. But to be a stand-up, I'm Jewish. I think it's hard. It's harder.
And I just think that doesn't have anything to do with it.
Okay.
I don't think that because you're Jewish would hold that. I don't think that's a factor that holds you back. And I get what you're saying. It's like Middle America is more, maybe racist or anti-Semitic.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
I believe there's some. They're not used to the Jewish energies.
But I think the stand-up comedy right now is more of a comedy fan stand-up comedy, where it's not like it was, maybe even a decade ago, where people like, let's go to a comedy show. That'd be fun. And it's like, no, tonight we're gonna go see Dalia, or we're gonna go see their specific.
He's Catholic.
Okay, well, anybody, just somebody you want to go see live. You see that person. Bobby Lee's in town.
Asian.
Well, I'm a fan of Bobby Lee. It's not just being a fan of comedy. So I don't think since there's so much more comedy fans that go to shows, I think real comedy fans don't care about the Jewish thing. If anything, they would celebrate the Jew just because there's so many of them in comedy.
And you know what? I agree with your point, and I do feel that podcasting, you're building up your audience. They get to know you. They come to see you. But if you are a non-Aryan and you're performing and they don't know you and they can sense you're Jewish, they're tough to like.
And I'm saying
I don't think I agree with that.
Okay, well, I just played shows in cities where I picked up that energy.
I've played in a lot of places, and I make a lot of Jew jokes, and I'm sure there have been people in the audience at times who just didn't like me because they could tell or knew I was Jewish.
Exactly.
But I do fine on the road. Everyone's really nice.
And I think for the most part, those kinds of people don't go to comedy shows, is what I'm saying.
Right, or they'll avoid you.
Here's the deal, but they are out there.
Sure.
That's what I'm getting, because I just did shows.
But everyone's gonna have someone in the audience who just doesn't like them for the. Maybe Jews have it worse, but
that's what I'm getting at.
But not by that much. There's maybe if you're performing for 200 people in America somewhere, and you're Jewish, you probably have not that many people who I think won't laugh at you as much or enjoy you as much because you're Jewish than anyone. Matt could have stuff. There could be, I don't know, people who resent straight white guys.
I've always,
there's
a lot of that.
Everyone's gonna have that. Women have that. Yep. Black guys can have that. Anybody can have that.
Look, I get up and I do my jokes. I'm going based off throwing it out there, picking up the energy, knowing that I have to prove I can't go in being Brody. I did the shows. These were not Brody shows. These were stand-up shows, and I went in there. And I was able to pick up that energy, and only based off, I went to school out. This was Arizona, and I'm going back to Arizona, by the way. but I made that choice because I was only doing a 10-minute set. I could kind of call out the audience for giving me a hard time. I know when a crowd doesn't get me at first. Like that happens at the Comedy Store, and you just stay with them. You do a joke, then they get you. I had a 10-minute spot there in Arizona, and I can tell, okay, they're not with me. And I said, F it. F you guys. I know why you're not with me, because I'm different. I could tell. I went to school there. It was never, Arizona State didn't give me that supportive energy to be different, be weird, and we'll go with you. They want jokes. And I'm just saying that I made that choice.
I can't tell you what your specific experience or broad experience is, but I feel like I'm a pretty Jewy guy.
Yes.
And
he is.
And it bleeds into a lot of the content of my comedy.
It does.
And I don't ever walk away from a show that I don't think I did that great on thinking because I was Jewish. If I have a show like that, it'll be more rooted in, man, maybe I messed up here, or I will actually see what I did wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I was a little stiff. Maybe it was this. Maybe it was that. So there could be a ton of other reasons why you might not have the best audience response. Not to say I don't crush on the road. I always do. No, I'm kidding. But
I mean, it's the road. That's why.
Yeah, but there's a way to do it, and generally, I think my overall success rate is good enough that I don't think anti-Semitism is playing into it.
I still disagree. And I travel all over. I do shows because
I
made that choice, and I've recently been traveling all over. I made that choice though, just because it was only a 10-minute show. It was a part of something. It wasn't like I wasn't doing a professional. That was professional.
That's probably why you didn't do good. If it was a
no,
weird
I did
show.
fine. I did
Whatever
good.
it is, it sounds like an odd circumstance. So
it's not odd. It's.
What were you? Where were you doing 10 minutes at a comedy club?
The Improv.
At the Improv.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was like a. Okay.
That's what I'm getting at. Where was this gonna happen at?
I thought you made it sound like it wasn't a traditional comedy show.
No, it was a traditional comedy club.
Right.
And it was a showcase. It was not a traditional lineup.
Well, there you go.
So that's why I was
like local showcase on a weekday.
But that opened my no, it was on the weekend. That opened my eyes up to that stuff is still out there.
What night was it?
It was a Friday night.
A Friday night showcase at a comedy
It
club?
was for the festival.
It's for the festival. I
Okay.
did
So it's
fine.
like-
I did.
How much did tickets cost?
They were a good crowd. They weren't a bad crowd. I'm just saying, like, they were a kind of crowd that just give them jokes. They don't want anything out of the box. And when I did stuff out of the box...
Why does that have to do with your Judaism? There's some crowd audiences who just want jokes. It doesn't have to do with any of this.
It usually is crowds that are more buttoned up and conservative. You go to San Francisco, I guarantee you can play and do all that stuff. You do it. I do satellite, do the alternative rooms. I'll never do a regular joke. They crave the weirdness. Then I was at this Improv. I'm just saying, yes, it was a particular night, and I chose to nitpick on it. But just throwing it out there, I picked up on those energies, and I just chose as a scientist to comment on it.
Hey, Brody.
Yeah.
You still haven't introduced your guest.
Eric, yes, I have. Somewhat. Go ahead, Matt.
well, I was just gonna say, like, I used to struggle with old people. Like, if you go to do casino gigs,
Right.
if you're in a casino for a weekend, it's cool because everything's comp, and but all the fans are really old, like grandparents' age, and there's we speak different languages. I don't think that I mean, it's almost like you. Like in that sense, you almost grade. Well, I always say never grade yourself on a curve. That's what like people who suck do. But in a way, it's like, well, okay, that wasn't my room. There's really the success rate for me would have been low. There's like odds are I'm not going to do well, but I did okay or whatever. You know what I mean? But like Benji says, it's like that the issue is the age, right? But that's just that isolated incident. I'm in a casino. I'm in their territory, right? What you're saying is there is enough establishments across the country that fill up with anti-Semites on the weekends. And you happen to be booked these weekends.
I'm saying it's hard. I'll even throw this in. It's hard for a Jewish guy. They know you're Jewish. And you're a new guy. You're not Jeff Ross. You could even be Andy Kindler, who struggles to sell tickets on the road in the Midwest. So ticket sales, you're not going to get them. It's hard to get ticket sales when you have a Jewish name. I'm not complaining. I'm just stating these are facts.
True.
How do you know
Kindler
that?
doesn't sell out in the Midwest because he doesn't have enough fans there to sell out. That's all that is.
I don't even know. Is
Jeff
he Jewish?
Ross is Jewish. He sells out in the Midwest.
I know he's
David Tell, there's
I
tons
know,
of
but
Jewish
these
comics
guys,
who do fine.
I understand, but they're already famous. They're big. They're funny.
Yeah.
And Andy Kindler's funny.
Yeah, but
it's
he's not
he almost is too Jewish looking to play those
That's
those
not
kind
true.
of rooms.
Andy Kindler has been doing comedy a really long time. He had a ton of success whenever he had a pocket of time where he was doing a ton of TV
And he was
a ton of
around
that.
before the internet.
Heyday.
Yeah.
Heyday.
So he was in.
Yeah, and then it didn't sustain as much, I guess. I don't know the ins and outs
He
of
still
his
does
career.
stuff.
I mean, it's like your career changes, but he's a thing no matter what.
I'm just saying, don't say it's not there. That's all I'm saying. It's there. There's something about doing a show in front of Aryan people. Don't tell me I'm not upset. And this is good for podcasting.
Yeah, but you're getting back to what Matt said. There aren't audiences you're not performing at white supremacy rallies. Like, it's a comedy club.
I know, it's subtle. It's called token racism. Have you done Irvine? And we'll be right back after this. I mean, I'm just saying what people say.
I do fine in Irvine, and I'm so Jewish.
But people, okay. First of all, Benji Aflalo doesn't come off as a Jewish name, and you have Portuguese blood, correct?
No, he is a Moroccan.
I'm pretty Jewish.
So they see Benji Aflalo. They
Dude,
don't associate. This is a Jewish guy. We'll come see him.
I'm small. I know what it feels like to exist in a world where you don't fully blend with the white people around you.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
But that doesn't necessarily affect you at a comedy club.
I'm not.
And in fact,
It makes it not as fun. I'd rather, me personally, I go to the satellite. By the way, we're talking to Benji Aflalo, who knows about Arizona because he went to University of Arizona. I went to Arizona State. Matt Edgar is from the South Bay, so we're all covering Southern California. Southwest,
I
essentially.
love Phoenix is my favorite scene outside of LA and New York.
And I love Phoenix. They love to laugh.
Yeah,
they love to laugh.
Fuck
they
yeah,
love
they
the
do.
jokes. They love to laugh, and then they're really starting to embrace different cultures and all that.
Shout out to my boy Doug Ducey, the governor there. He had me over for dinner one night.
You did?
Governor Ducey.
How'd you meet him? You guys smoke a doobie?
His son is a fan of a band that I was on tour with, opening for.
Am I allowed to say that band?
It's not Guster, if that's
It's
what
not?
I say. You always bring up Guster. No,
You've
it's
opened
not.
up for other bands?
Yeah. Oh,
What
yeah.
band was this?
This was a band called the Vagabonds from Nashville.
How come I didn't get that gig?
It was down to you and me, bro. But anyways,
They did a background check on you, and they found a picture of you in a synagogue, and they said, let's book
no.
Matt Edgar.
You know what? That's not far from the truth, I bet you. These guys are from Nashville? Okay.
oh, they're
Nashville's
so
great.
chill.
Yeah, what are
dude.
you
they're
talking
so
about?
chill.
Come after me. I'm fired up.
Doug's son was a fan of them, and then I was with them. They had us over for dinner on tour, and it was
That's
fucking
cool.
awesome. Great dude.
It's so fun. That
It's
sounds
so
fun.
interesting because I Google him because it's like he's a governor. I'm at a literally sitting across from his personal. It's just him, his family, me, and this band. And then you Google him, and it's like in politics, there's so many. Like if I were to just look this guy up and not meet him, I'd be like, this guy must suck. Just like that he's a Republican.
Oh, Matt.
governor
you sure
in Arizona.
We can edit this out.
Oh, I don't care.
I mean,
I'm not political. I'm just saying.
It's not you, but you had dinner with a Republican,
Yeah.
a
And
politician.
when you grow up in LA, you're taught that that's evil. Republicans are the bad. They're on the other side.
Right, they're on the
Right?
other side of they're on the 118 freeway, on the way to the Ronald Reagan
In Irvine.
Library.
Irvine's very Republican.
There you go. We're surrounded.
But
by
he was such a cool dude, and I was like, God, fuck, man, like, yeah, you can't fake news.
There you go. Breaking news. Matt Edgar with fake news. He had.
That would be a funny segment.
But you could probably
Fake news.
I mean, to say you had dinner with that, but he's not too controversial, is he?
No,
Dude's
but
never
he has
heard
to
of him.
deal with immigration a lot.
And he's in Arizona.
Yeah.
Is he the current governor?
Yep.
Wow. Is he staying? Is he?
He just won again.
He won again.
Big time.
So
Yeah.
you're in with this guy.
Sure. His
Wow.
son, cool kid.
So and what's your take? So it's okay. You don't have but you aren't political.
No.
So there probably are people would turn down that meal.
I wasn't going to turn down a meal no matter what. the entire drive to the governor's house, I thought they were fucking with me. Like, we're having dinner with the governor tonight. Like, okay, like this is like their drunk friend that has a house that they call him the governor. But no, we go up. It's a gated community with like layers of gates, security.
Got to have it.
And really cool, awesome southwestern home. You could picture it.
So you just had dinner with a Republican governor of
right
Arizona.
When we walk in, he comes, shakes our hand, and he's very political. He's like Doug Ducey, says his full name. He's like, would you guys like a beer? And immediately we just get to drinking beers, and they give us a tour of his house, which is fucking awesome. Cool dude.
Was it John McCain's
and you know
old
what?
place?
Another thing about this guy, he started Cold Stone Creamery. That was his company.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
The first store is there on Southern and McClintock. That's the first ever Cold Stone store is right around the corner from Arizona State. He did?
Yeah, and it became a chain, so they're all over Southern California.
Of course.
Too.
Cold Stone rocks.
Yeah, buddy. That was him, Doug Ducey.
And then Stone Cold was the actor.
The wrestler.
No, well, here's the deal. Yes, Stone Cold's the wrestler, but the movie
movie
with Brian Bosworth was called Stone Cold.
I only care about one Stone Cold, and that's
Steve Austin,
the fucking Texas Rattlesnake.
Was it Austin 316?
Yeah,
and he's into pot now. He gave up beer or something. He's
I didn't
talking
know
about
that.
how marijuana has been helping him.
All those guys are aching. They should have been smoking weed this whole time.
They all smoke pot. That's Matt Edgar, and we have Benji Aflalo here. And it's been a contentious, it's been a feisty, and I'm not complaining. And ultimately, when you're a stand-up, it's on you, ultimately. So I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, when I did that set, I chose to let it get to me a little bit. I made that choice. And I'm also just like, for the sake of conversation, because we did speak about that before, I only brought it up again because it was recent, and then Benji is here. He is from Arizona, and it's all good, and he is Jewish. And it's kind of crazy, though, these days. I don't know if it's like being Jewish is bad, what's worse, being Jewish, white, a combination? What's the way to go with? Or Gemini. I go with Gemini. I go with positive energy, which is nothing really, but, I mean, it is something. But I go Gemini and the Valley. That's how I identify myself. I'm a Gemini from the San Fernando Valley. Benji?
I think everything's okay.
What do you mean?
You were asking what's worse to be and this and that. So I'm just saying.
What
I think
group has it the hardest? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm trying to. What were you asking?
We're on a podcast. We are creating. I said that. It's no labels. It's a different world right now.
Oh, like what label do I go by?
Yeah, I mean everything. You're identified by. If you're on
a guy.
That's wrong. Can't say that.
I can't be a guy?
Well,
maybe a dude?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Oh, you're a stoner? Oh, what
Maybe.
Well, that's our experience. It's easy to say, like, oh, yeah, well, straight white male, like, they have it the hardest, but that cannot be true.
I think
these are weird times for us, but
I've met a lot of straight white males who have it rough.
I don't. I think all the straight white males.
Ask Eric Oligny. He's straight. He's white. Why don't you start sticking up for yourself, Eric? You're a straight white male.
You know what it is? It's not nothing bad about being a straight white male.
Yeah.
You can't say that. We're gonna get red flagged.
At worst, it could be annoying just being public enemy number one every now and then. I mean, but
we ride above it.
You know what?
You rise above it because it is kind of not fake news, but a lot of that stuff. And I know what you're saying. I like your attitude, Benji, because if you are on Twitter, you're on social media, and we're drawn there because we kind of have to promote, and then you also feel like, oh, maybe I'll get that one viral tweet in or whatever. But if you step away from that, step away from the news, and just like walk around, go in your car, hang out at salad bars, go with Rob Ducey to the governor, you're cool.
I've made a choice to stop engaging with the fight that everyone's having, where it's like the straight white guy versus the woman, or the this or the that, or what side are you on? I think
neither side's really listening.
I think both sides are fighting, and the problem is that no one wants to come together. Look at our similarities. You look at how politics are now. No one works together.
Yeah.
And so I just don't engage. And then especially now, because all those Twitter bots and Instagram bots, they're not even real. So they have these like computers arguing with you about stuff and knowing how to poke at you. So then you have to defend the thing you said. And then I'm like, So also, I think it's like another reason to just sort of step back, and you don't really have to engage in a fight that everyone's having. You can just sort of live your life and
Or
try
not
to be
say
happy
anything. Just
and
keep
be
your mouth
fair.
shut
Yeah,
and let it
it's like,
fester.
We're getting
Well, I mean, there's nothing to fester. I think it's just I don't have to engage. You don't have to engage in that. If you were lived in the forest, you wouldn't have to engage with all these fights that everyone's always having
by the
politically
way,
and socially.
And
You
how
just-
many fights are you actually having? Like outside your phone or the computer or the internet, like as you're walking your day-to-day life and you go places, you're not fighting. The fighting's happening
Have
here.
you been to my
That's it.
Starbucks?
Yeah, I have actually on Riverside and
I don't go there anymore.
You go to the one on. I met you at the one by Coldwater in Ventura.
That's the one. Yep, that's one. I've had problems at that one before. I've had problems.
Maybe it's you, Brody.
Don't talk to me that way,
Oh,
Benji.
I know it's Brody.
It was me.
Well,
Of course it was.
what's the last fight you got in?
Back in May in
Physical?
not really.
Not really.
No, but it was. I think I think I've spoken of it before. Am I allowed to repeat a story on my
I think
podcast?
that's just that living in a city, you'll have moments with people.
There's a lot of people.
The other
It's
day,
hard to-
a lady drove into the street, and
That's
I
what
almost
they
hit
do.
her.
That's what they do.
Like she just came out of an alley and just like, I'm gonna go in this, and I'm just like, and she started yelling at me.
People are on edge. I've seen
I'm
people
like,
yelling
what?
and
You
over
almost
like.
killed me, and now
Yeah.
you're yelling at me.
I think you get the same kind of temperament in the car as you do on Twitter. I think it's the
You
same
can.
the same bubble that you're protected, like nothing physically
Just
could
don't
happen, and you can just
engage.
talk shit, get more mad. Because
Yeah.
it's an interesting thing. People would like really get mad. Jade was just telling me that she almost got in a crash, but instead she let the person through, and she's like, "It's okay." And the lady looked at her and just full rage, like screaming at her.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, okay.
She
like,
could be putting out negative energy. And it
this
came
is
back
this
to her.
has nothing. No matter what, I shouldn't have made you that mad. There's nothing. What I did here in the car,
Yeah,
like I
it's
said
your life
sorry
already
immediately.
sucks.
But then once that girl registered that she was apologizing,
Yeah,
immediately she rolled down her window. I'm so sorry for yelling at you.
there you go.
Like,
That's
bitch,
nice.
you need to
That's
be
a nice
disarmed.
moment. Take a selfie. I will say this. Well, one real quick, my Starbucks interaction.
Yeah.
That
Was it like that time that the guy had the same shoes as you?
Well, not. I was not on a. I wasn't off my meds. This is when Starbucks back in earlier this year when guys were getting kicked out of Starbucks for the bathroom issue. Guys were you had to buy something to use the bathroom. Then they said anybody could use the restroom. So it was during that period. And so I walked into my local Starbucks, where I would normally go, and they have a big community table like what we're sitting on here. And the guy had everything like spread out on the table, backpack on the table, jacket on a chair, charging 2 speakers, a transient, not a big deal, but spread out.
Yeah.
And it only caught my eye because it had been in the news. You know, like, and I'm thinking, they're going to let everybody in here.
Yep.
It was just kind of a funny thought to me.
Yeah.
So I did take a photo, like, maybe I'll put something, not put his face on it,
Yeah.
of course, but like, look at this guy taking everything over, if I was to even do that. So then I go get my coffee at the cold side. It was an iced latte, no Trenta cold brew. And I go pick it up. I go over there, and I see where the guy's sitting, and he's got an exposed weapon. He's got a mini baseball bat. So this guy was like a transient type. I will say African-American, but that has nothing to do with it. But he had a bat, and the bat was like on the table. So you had the bat on the table, his stuff spread out, and I go, makes sense to me. Spread out. My instincts are right. I see a bat. Again, nothing with him being African-American. Didn't matter. I'm just for the story.
Why do you keep telling us?
Just to protect myself.
He's painting the picture.
Yeah, painting a picture.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Can I get some more black ink? Okay. Okay. So I take a photo like of the weapon. I get it. I could see the handle, and then my coffee's coming up, and this guy saunters up to me, a different guy, like a white guy who I thought I kind of knew. He goes, hey, but he goes, hey, what are you taking a photo of? Like friendly. And I go, oh, you're, for a split second, I thought, oh, this is a fan or a friend. And then I knew right away, like, he wasn't. And I go, a weapon. I zoomed in because I had it right on my phone. And I showed him, I go, a weapon. And I go, why? And he goes, oh, I thought you were taking a picture of me and my wife, or me and my girlfriend, or whatever. I go, why would I take a picture of you and your girlfriend? He goes, I don't know. I go, why don't you get the F out of my face?
Okay,
You said that?
You said
Yeah.
that.
So you escalated.
Yeah. big
F
time.
yeah, I escalated it. Get
Why?
out of my face. I'm going to frickin' hit you.
Yeah.
Is
Well,
what I told him.
but then he did cross over. Well, to his.
But did he get in your face physically, or was he just aggressively talking to you, or neither?
He stepped to me. He he came up to me.
Yeah.
Right.
He could have gone up to a manager and said, this guy took a photo. I mean,
Right.
he came to me. That's why you don't go up
and then
to
what happened after
strangers.
you threatened him?
And he said, oh, you don't want to do that. I go, I will. And I wasn't going to hit him. He was smaller than me. He was wearing a Dodger cap. That was funny. But I could have, I don't think size, I would have been maybe irritated anyway, but I knew, and I wasn't going to hit him. But, and I said, why would I take a picture of, your girl? I don't know. Get the F out of my face. He said something, and I said, I go, nobody wants to take a picture of you and your ugly girlfriend.
Oh, they Brody.
Sorry. Because he kept stepping to me. Sorry. That's what you get when you come up to a stranger. A guy may be ready to go.
You might get stung.
Yeah. So
And then what happened?
And then he like I tell him like that, got him going, and he said, "You mother," or something, and they came to like break it up. Like the staff knew me. Hey, Steve. They called me Steve. Hey, Steve, settle down. And then he goes, yeah, this guy's got a weapon here. He goes, that's what I said. I go, I'm taking a photo of the weapon. And then he goes something like, yeah, it's called me an old man. Yeah, this 50-year-old man called me an old man.
Ooh.
So then I go get and I calm down for a second. I got my coffee. I see him looking at me. I go, what, you got a problem? You got a problem?
Oh, my God.
I go, nobody wants to take a picture of you and your fat girlfriend
Jesus,
in
Brody.
front of the whole Starbucks. And then I walked out, and I haven't been back since.
Which
So,
Starbucks was that?
Laurel Canyon and Riverside.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
I lost my cool, but that's what I was and I embarrassed myself, and I wasn't going to
That's a little crowded.
Why don't you
Starbucks.
go to nicer coffee shops?
because I want that kind of interaction.
He's looking for
For
it.
the story.
You're looking for trouble.
No, it's like my local Starbucks. I walk there. I see Bert Kreischer there. I see Eddie Pepitone. I see Fritz Coleman, the weatherman. I see a lot of people, Tim Allen. And look, I was out of line a little bit, but the same kind of thing. Like a year prior, or 2 years prior, I was at another Starbucks. I'm waiting in line, and this guy behind me is like sniffling, like breathing, like right over my shoulder. And so then I come up to the counters, like 2 registers, and I just like move away because I was in line. And once I got up to the counter where you can like spread out, I like moved way over. Like, I'm not gonna have this guy right over my shoulder with his sniffles and stuff. And so then she goes next, and I walk up, and he like walked in. I go, hey, I'm up. He goes, and he said something like, I was here. I go, no, you're sniffling over my shoulder, and I moved out of the way. I said something like that. I go, you're sneezing over my shoulder. He goes, you want to, I'll knock you out, mother effer.
Oh, jeez.
Like right there. And so it's like this guy, and it was like an aggressive guy. I forget the whole
You
story.
gotta let those things go.
Of course you do, but
Yeah,
you also have to stick up for yourself at times.
Brody, no. But especially against a transient person like that, you just got to know when to walk away.
No,
Who
he wasn't a
gives
transient. These guys weren't transient.
Okay, well, this guy, I'm saying the guy before and even this guy.
The guy after
there's
me,
never a
the
reason.
sniffle guy was like a tweaker guy, possibly.
Okay.
Part of existing in the world is sometimes you have these off-putting interactions, but you don't interact with them more than you have to. You put it down. So if there's a guy sniffling behind me,
You move.
you wait. You're just waiting for the situation to be over. If there's a guy sniffling behind me, I think he's too close to me. I maybe inch away, and then if he's still too close to me, I'm like, I can't wait to order my drink and have this be over with, and I'm gonna stand as far away from this person as possible.
That's what I did.
No, you started talking to him. And
No,
saying
I didn't
stuff.
talk to him. I moved away, and
Brody-
then when it was my turn for the register, I walked up to the register, and this guy came. I go, I didn't leave the line. Something. I go, you're sniffling over my shoulder.
So he tried to cut you, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it looks like that's what happened. Yes. But if he said, I'm excused, it was just gross over my shoulder. So I'm not going to be around it. Sorry. And then he like threatened to knock me out. He was like a smaller guy too. And I could have, and here's the thing. I wasn't in shape at that point. And then, so it's kind of a little flat footed, but if I was in shape, I may have engaged.
I had a thing where I almost engaged with someone at a Dodger game recently.
Can't do it.
But I was too high. And so I didn't.
Upper
But-
level seats?
No, I was in nice seats, and I think what I noticed is I'll be honest, I like the Dodgers. I don't really care for Dodger fans.
Oh. Wow.
And, yeah,
That's
for the
that's
most
kind of
part.
racist.
I say the same thing.
Oh,
but,
no.
You want to back that up later? Go
No,
ahead.
I mean, I just don't. I like some of them, but a lot of the
They've
Dodger
stabbed
fans,
some people.
It's not even about that. I just think a lot of them are dicks. Anyways, and in the nicer seats too, these guys. There's so many. I was in nice seats, and I got a good deal. But I'm probably in seats that costed people like $500 to $600. It was a playoff game, right? And I noticed there was this energy from like men with their wives who like were like posturing like I got these good seats, right? Like it was just weird. And anyways, so I'm in a good seat. I'm like 4th row behind home plate, and I walk down to my seat, and it's in the middle of play, and then there's 2 seats in the row behind me that are empty, and it's the middle of play. So I'm like, I'm just gonna sit here really fast and wait for the break and play, and just move a row to my seat because I have to bother 4 people who have to walk by. And I'm sitting there, and then the guy who seats there comes up behind me and he goes, "Hey, these are my seats." I go, "Oh, okay, no bad, my bad, I'm getting up." But then as I do that, he grabs my shirt and like pulls me up as I.
Oh, no,
wow.
that's no.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
And
fight that guy.
I was really stoned, and I like didn't process it, but then all of a sudden I like turned around and I just looked at him and I go, "Hey man, that's really weird that you touched me like that. Why would you do that?"
I was getting up, dude.
Yeah.
I would have got the security.
I
guard.
said, "I'm getting up. Why did you do that?"
Yeah, I
And then
apologized and got up.
I think he got scared. He was fatter than me, but shorter than me and older than me. And he didn't say anything. He like wouldn't answer me. He like went mute. And then his wife started yelling at him. And then I was just like, all right. And then I went and I sat like right.
Wow, his wife started yelling at
His
him.
wife started yelling at him, and he didn't say a word to me.
Oh, yeah, he was just probably drunk.
Well, because I called him out in front of a whole section of people.
Right.
Like I stood up and I was like, why? Like I got like a little aggressive, and then he just
Well, you
went mute.
stood up for yourself.
Yeah.
Stuck up for yourself.
Yeah.
I would have probably gotten security involved.
I choked a guy this summer.
What in
A father in front of his son.
Matt? What is happening? was it Doug Ducey, the governor of Arizona?
Whatever. No, it was at Bolsa Chica, the beach with the campfires.
Let's hear
It's a
about
weird. It's like its own little community. It's like it's almost like uncharted waters.
What
It's just like
happened?
Ventura County.
He's drunk. I
Everyone,
assume.
please. He pulled up drunk. Yeah, my buddy. There was a show with this band another band that I've
Guster?
toured with. It's not Guster, another band, and they were doing. Adam Carolla had this tour that I did comedy on, and another band from that tour was throwing a show. So it was Adam Carolla's Drink Line was sponsoring this rock show at the beach in
Okay.
Bolsa Chica.
Gotcha.
They got me parking. All I had to do was show up. I get free drinks. You know, they're gonna give me a wristband and everything. So I pull up, but I have to call my friend to let me into the gate. So the gate, it's a private parking area. So he has to run up and let me in. But there's a few cars trying to get in already. So when he opens the gate, 2 cars ahead, he's like, you know, I see him starting to get into it with people in that car, and then they just blow right past him. And then the guy after him, same thing, like just so like no respect. He's like, "Dude, I work here. I'm sorry, you're not allowed to come. I'm just letting this guy is part of the crew. He's coming in." And they just drove off. So he's like starting to like, you know, and he's like trying everything he can to be cool. I pull up. He's like, "Dude, get in a hurry so I could close the door." As I pull back and he closes the door, another SUV pulls up.
Right.
And then this guy, like now they're yelling. I could hear him yelling. So I parked the car. I'm like, this guy, my buddy Jay has had it. Like his patience, you know, he just basically got walked all over twice in a row. This guy, he ain't playing anymore. So he's yelling. This guy's yelling back. The guy grabs a LaCroix or whatever from his drink, from his thing, and like throws it.
Was it full?
It was like mostly empty.
Okay.
But it splashed on us, and it was like whatever. But
Okay.
Jay swings at the guy.
Oh, he threw a LaCroix?
Yeah. Yeah, it was like, it was already, yeah, you got physical.
You throw a LaCroix can, it's on.
Yeah. So he and I'm like totally full of patience. Jay's had it.
Like that song.
I'm just showing up.
Guns N' Roses.
And he goes to punch him, and then the guy opens the door, grabs a glass Snapple, throws it between. I feel the wind over my face. It shatters on the ground, and at that point, I know like, oh, I'm in a fight. Like this is a physical fight.
So
But it's me and Jay versus this one fat. Actually, it wasn't that he was fat. He was like, I'm trying to think who the closest body type we know of that he was built like. You know, like almost like a shorter Kreischer.
Okay.
Like when Kreischer's, because Kreischer has like mass too. He's not just fat.
Right.
You know what I mean? But this guy was probably about my height, but way bigger than me. And he just comes out swinging, Jay swinging. I'm trying to push them apart, and he grazes the back of my head and gets a kind of a good shot on me. Well, I'm like in between him.
You're a peacemaker.
I'm doing everything I can. Jay swings over, misses me, hits him kind of in the shoulder. And then as this guy is coming back, I knew I could tame Jay eventually, but this guy has no idea what's going on. He's looking to hurt us because he's
How
also
old is he?
He's got to be our age, if not a few years older.
But bigger, like
Bigger,
overweight.
yes.
Okay.
Not overweight, but he's like more stocky, you know.
Stocky like Don Barris. Stocky.
Yeah, Barris is a great but not like kind of like built just like Barris.
Okay. I can visualize this now.
He kind of starts to get past me and gets to Jay, and I just grabbed him by the shoulder. And mind you, I already got hit at this point, so I'm still even this after the Snapple bottle trying to stop this fight, and I get hit. So then now he's just not stopping. So I take him from behind, and he's top heavy. I trip him, and he falls, and I'll never forget the thud. It was disgusting. This thud of dude.
He did fall though.
He went down completely.
That's a great situation.
And then at that point, I'm trying to I feel bad, so I'm pushing. Jay's thinking we're jumping this guy now, so I'm like literally pushing Jay.
Yeah, you gotta go in for the kill. He threw a Snapple
That's what he thinks, but it's like I'm not like you, dude. I want to not have a fight.
Not have a fight. You had a LaCroix can.
Yeah, but it's like once that's over, it's over. Like I don't need to get hurt or hurt this guy and have to deal with that.
You have to do it so he doesn't do it to somebody else.
Whatever. He got knocked down, and as he got up to go, he kept on trying to get Jay, and it was like my tunnel vision. Like I don't even I had no control over it.
You choked him out.
Yeah.
You choked him out?
Yeah.
Did he fall? Did he go to sleep?
He started to, and then I let him. I'm like, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go, and then he starts getting up, and then immediately the elbows start coming. So I've
Matt, is this something you want to talk about on the show? Because
the worst part is
basically a felony.
As he's I could hear the gurgle, which is I'm making this guy gurgle,
gasping for air.
It's disgusting. I don't want any of this.
This is like American History
And also,
X.
I'm kicking Jay off. Jay's still trying to get shots, and it was bad because then I'm like, are we jumping this guy? He goes through the gurgle. He's like, my son's in the car. I look in the back seat. There's a car seat and a little boy screaming.
Did he throw the Snapple bottle? The kid?
No, the kid was hysterical watching his dad get jumped.
Hysterical,
Crying.
In a bad way.
Not
How
laughing.
old was the kid? In a car seat?
Car seat.
Jesus.
Yeah. And
Have you told this story before?
One other time on
a
another
podcast?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and I let him go, and then he got up.
I love the story.
And he basically just got in his car and turned around and drove away, and it was like, wow, I just choked a dad in front of a kid. I never wanted that.
How old is the baby?
I mean, he had to been what's car seat age?
3?
He was big in the car seat, so it wasn't like a baby.
3 or 4.
He was conscious of there was commotion outside, and
he might have already had a learning disability. Already.
He might get some PTSD from that.
Wow.
I would never have seen that. My dad could take out anybody.
We have video of it too.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Unfortunately, the video is of when I let him up the second time, but it's me letting him up.
And are you shocked that you allowed yourself to go there? You had that in you to take a man's life?
It was it wasn't about his life. I kept on begging him to stop so I could let him go, and he probably would have won in a fight toe to toe. I'm saying there was leverage because for one, Jay's trying to fight him, so that's 2 against 1. That's not fair. Also, just the way he fell. I just had all the leverage.
You're a compassionate guy. You're like me. I would have done that. I mean, look, I'm not. I talk a big game. The battle. Sometimes you'll do stuff, but I see where you're coming from. I don't like to. I'm a peacemaker.
I've never really been in a fight.
After the glass bottle, I still tried to not fight with him. I mean, he could have really fucked one of us up if it would have impacted our heads.
So
glass Snapple.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you should have choked him out.
I mean,
sounds like you did
I would have rather not.
That's the most peaceful way. It's you didn't bash his face in. I mean, you basically put him down.
Mind you, full of patience. I just showed up, dude. I was ready to have some drinks and have some fun. My friends from out of town were in. And
that's a traumatic experience.
Yeah.
For you.
I was shaken it was hard to get out of that mindset.
Oh, now, Benji, you said
I'm gonna choke you.
Benji, you've not been into a fight
Not
before,
really.
a fist fight.
I kind of got punched at the Comedy Store once, but the guy was drunk and he didn't really land it.
Yeah, I remember that.
He tripped as he was punching
Yeah.
me.
It was
So
sloppy.
it didn't really.
You know what I thought about the other day?
But I wasn't even paying it. I had my phone in my hand.
Who was it? Argus Hamilton?
No, this guy was drunk, got kicked out of the OR.
Yeah.
Were you there for this?
Yeah, I was.
And then he gets put to the front sidewalk. And then so there's like, and he's drunk and belligerent, yelling on the sidewalk about getting kicked out. He's just a drunk. So there's probably like 30 or 40 comics on the patio watching him while the security guards are sort of standing like this, making sure it's like, all right, you're on the sidewalk, whatever. And I was literally
You're
playing.
moving the mic.
I
a
was
little bit.
I was playing Catan on my phone.
Chris Kattan.
I knew you were
No.
gonna say that.
I'm quick. You're quick. I'm quick.
But
Go ahead.
I'm on the driveway, and the security guards are sort of in between him and the patio where all the people are, and I'm just there. And then he gets on his phone, and he's like, "I'm talking to my lawyer, guy," like just drunk threats.
Yeah.
And then he's having a conversation, and then I can see from the angle I'm at that the patio can't see, is that he's not. I can see the dial pad. He's not
he's
really
not even
having
on
a
the
phone
phone.
call.
Oh.
And so I'm literally like this, like enjoying the drunk maniac playing Catan on my phone, and then I go, "Oh yeah, he's not even really having a phone call." He charges me because I'm the only one not in between.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it, but I'm just like, everyone's out here watching this drunk guy act like an asshole. Charges me, goes to punch me, trips, and then he like grazes my forehead, and it wasn't a big deal. I was on stage like 5 minutes later.
So wait, you weren't on stage. He didn't know.
No,
you was like,
no, I was just about to go up.
Remember when we thought we murdered that guy?
Oh, the PJ night?
Yeah.
I know this night vividly.
And
That's the most violent, gnarly thing I've
I've
ever
never seen this side of Benji either, because like you got so like professional lawyer, like locking the doors.
Yeah.
You locked all the doors. That was the first. Nobody thought we should
It's
lock
the same
up.
night there were blowjobs on stage. I looked at Goldfinger. I'm like, what are you doing? Shut the front door, dude.
Yeah. It was not. Yeah. Yeah. We.
You idiot. He's just there like scared, like, am I about to lose my job? And then I'm just like, well, shut the door, dude.
Yeah. At a minimum, we should at least close the blinds here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was an actor too. Remember?
Okay, this
I
is what
think
happened.
was I
It
there that
some
night?
sort
I
of-
may have been there.
I think he was some sort of actor guy, and he came by the club, and he was drunk
earlier. He had
and
come
being an
earlier.
asshole.
Mind you, this was like back when it wasn't like sold out OR.
What year is this? Like 10 years ago?
2010.
2010's a
Something
good
like
guess.
Okay, we'll say 8 years ago.
And so he leaves and he gets kicked out. But as he's leaving, I'll never forget this. PJ's yelling at him, like, don't fucking come back, blah, blah. You know, PJ yelling as the guy walks east.
PJ's the old door, one of the comedians.
Yeah, he wasn't a door guy then. He's just walking east on Sunset now as PJ's like, don't fucking come back. And he's like, fuck you. And they're like yelling at each other as they leave. So like the way this guy leaves is very heated, especially between him and PJ. I'll never forget. I was right next to PJ as they were yelling as this guy was leaving
Yeah.
for getting kicked out.
I remember that because like literally PJ's yelling down Sunset. Like he's
Yeah.
yelling at like just
Yeah.
the guy's gone and
Yeah,
it's so
and he's still yelling.
yeah.
Cut to like 1 a.m. or
Yeah,
something.
so like
the
after
night's almost
Dawn's
over.
on stage, it's literally just us in the room. So now there's no business happening.
Gotcha. Late night.
Yeah,
late-
so
They
if
already kicked this guy out once.
If anybody's gonna walk into the OR, everybody's gonna see it immediately because it's
Yeah.
like somebody new's in here. Like we're all hanging out at this point.
Right.
And in walks these two dudes.
Two guys now.
Yeah, no, it was
he
two before.
There was two before.
Okay.
And they're drunk, and then so all of a sudden it escalates fast because I remember it was Halpin was the OR front,
Yep.
and Halpin was already
Immediately
like, we already kicked
stands
you
up.
guys out, blah 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 blah. I didn't see all of this part, but it gets physical.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Halpin
right there.
kind of stumbles down the stairs,
Yeah.
hurts his ankle,
So Halpin
and then
actually
it really escalates.
Halpin actually pushes him against the wall, and he does like this military.
Yeah, he
hold
was a
thing.
military
Yeah,
guy.
so
Yeah.
like his hands are stuck like this, and he's up against the wall, and his friend starts fighting, but then the guy starts. Mind you, PJ and Davey are still there.
Davey has multiple sclerosis.
No, he has cerebral palsy.
Okay,
Yeah.
I knew it was one of the two.
But he also
It's coin-
has like this
it's coin flip.
weird monkey strength. Like his arms, like he doesn't throw a straight punch, he like whips it. And when it hits, it rarely would hit anything, but when it does, it put a hole in.
It's like a giraffe neck.
I mean, it's like
They'll use them. Those necks are powerful.
yeah, it's like a whip, but if like the whip had like some giant like skull on the end that would
Got
just
it.
punch through pretty much anything. I've seen him like hit people before. It sounds and
Davey Wester's like a white trash Golden Axe character.
There you go. A lot of violence on today's podcast, by the way.
Halpin goes, yeah, he rolls down the staircase
ankle,
and
and then it
rolls his
escalates.
ankle, and then like at that
PJ,
point,
and then PJ's
Davey comes out swinging, cerebral palsy, just whipping, missing everything, and but missing things, and where it lands is there's always hard impact. Headshots are being shattered.
Yeah, mine's low.
Okay,
so I'm
PJ then bashes this guy's head into the ashtray. To this day, that ashtray has a big dent in it from that guy's head.
Yeah, that's
If
an
you see
actor's
the dent,
head.
that's from PJ putting someone's head into that ashtray, and then PJ mounted him and started choking him out.
Mounted? Is that like a sexual thing? Was he sexually
No,
assaulted?
it was more like a rear naked, because the way they rolled down, the guy just had his back. His back was turned, but PJ
choked him out until his eyes were going to the back. Of
Oh,
the
I
truck.
mean, I'll never forget the
That was the
thud when
scary part.
we had to pull PJ off the
And
guy.
we had to pull, PJ
So when we
off, not
finally
me.
pried his arms off, the guy's head just went fell back limp and hit the concrete floor, and just again like the thud when the dad went down. It's like it's bone chilling.
This is like The Outsiders, The Lost Boys. What I'm
I've
hearing
never seen
today.
anything like this.
For somebody who's never been into a fight, I think you've been into some fights.
I have never. I mean, I
around 'em.
didn't get introduced to physical violence in front of me until I started doing comedy.
Yeah, it's like nightclubs. We're out. There's alcohol.
It's like at the Man's Theater. They put the cement. You put your hands in the cement in front of the Man's Chinese Theater.
I take pride in that. I'm part of the reason the store hired security. There used to be no security there.
Yeah.
And then there was an evening that I had there where they had to drag someone off stage, and then they got security.
But
And
now there's tons of security.
And now there's tons. But
Where
I
were
was
you?
the first step.
On stage?
I was on stage, and there was this guy being an asshole the whole night, and I remember going up there, and I'm just like, if he's an asshole to me, I'm just not going to take it. I don't know. But he was being a dick all night, and he was a big fucking guy. I was such a dummy for the way I used to be up there. And yeah, he's being a dick, but he had his girlfriend with him, so I started making fun of his girlfriend and him and this and that. He gets on stage. This guy is maybe an inch shorter than me, but he is freaking jacked, so jacked that eBay, Josh Martin, and an audience member had to pull this guy off the stage.
Wow.
3 men.
Wow.
And this guy was built, and it was pretty scary. And then they got security.
Benji went through a phase. Is this during the phase?
No, this is before that. But it was.
I went before that. So
This
might had something with you turning completely over.
I think I always had access to a very angry energy, a very angry, honest.
But I think you had to
energy.
dip your feet into the pool.
I kind of would. I remember I had a friend who told me that he reminded me of something awful I said to an audience member in my first or second year of comedy to be funny. And I was just like, what was I thinking? I would just say anything I wanted to anybody.
Yeah.
And I thought it was okay.
And then you you like that. Oh, who is it?
It's Bobby Miyamoto. Hello?
Hey, Brody.
Hey, Bobby, we're on the podcast right now.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I don't know if you're coming through. Let's check. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, Bobby. Emma, can Bobby be heard on the podcast through the audio? Yeah. Okay. Bobby, you are on the podcast. This is Bobby Miyamoto. Bobby was on the podcast about a month ago. We're here right now with comedians Benji Aflalo, Mat Edgar. This is Bobby Miyamoto. Bobby and I both go out on the road with David Spade. Bobby went to school at Arizona State. I went to school at Arizona State. Bobby, what are you calling about?
Travel in Arizona. I don't know if it's podcast entertainment.
I'll tell you what. We'll talk about rental cars. Bobby and I are going to go on the road. We do shows with David Spade. We have a good time. We work together. We're gonna also do a show at Stand Up Live together. How is it going on the road with Brody Stevens?
It's great. It's
Do you guys share hotel rooms?
I went to the University of Arizona.
We got our own rooms. I'll say this. We have 3 other guys here. David Spade makes going on the road easy. So David makes it all easy. So within that world, I feel I navigate. I behave well, and I feel like Bobby behaves well, and we're not behaves well, but I behave well. But we get along together. And I think
It's simple. I mean, everything's taken care of. It's not the usual road things where you have to go hunt down a good airline fare and stuff like that. It's all kind of taken care of.
Nice.
How long have you been doing comedy for, Bobby?
I don't know. I over 10 years.
Oh, cool.
I don't know. I don't know exactly how long.
And you live in Arizona?
No,
he lives in the Valley.
Oh, okay.
the Valley.
I see.
Couple miles from Brody.
I see.
But here's the deal. It's like when you go on, and I'm trying to help Eric with this, Eric Aligny. Eric, maybe you can jump in on the mic on this one, because we go out on the road. You have to act a certain way on the road when you're a feature, or you're a host, or you're going out with, say, a David Spade, or going out playing a B room. There's ways to behave.
You take the cue from the headliner, but I
Right.
mean, he lets you do whatever you want.
I've had
because you're a headliner.
I've had a bad experience with an opener.
You had a bad you did?
I know. I had an opener. He kept going long, and I kept telling him not to. And then this one time, not only did he go long, he started selling his CDs while he's already like 3 minutes over. And
Did you lie? Did you talk? That's almost so you talked to him, and what did he say?
He got a little defensive, but then admitted he was wrong, but got a little defensive, and then admitted he was wrong.
Twice? So he went through the cycle?
Sort of, yeah.
What an idiot.
But I always tell, and Bobby knows this, and I tell Eric, because we brought Eric out to the All Things Now here's the deal, Eric. Do you smoke cigarettes today?
Yes.
Do you smell like cigarettes?
No.
I smell it. Do you smell it, Benji?
I mean, a little bit.
Do you smell it?
Doesn't
Matt?
bother
And
me.
we're not
bad?
knocking him. We're not knocking him. We're not knocking
I
him.
actually-
Brody, he's a goy from Florida. He's gonna smoke. He's gonna be a little more, he doesn't have the Jew neuroses. You just have to accept that you guys.
It's not neuroses. How
different,
dare you?
You're different animals.
I'm just saying why
Embrace your differences.
But why make it why have that work against you? Why have something that's quote unquote a negative have it work against you,
Brody,
or not for you?
Because
necessarily.
you have Jew brain, and so you're worried about every little thing, and you're thinking about
I
the
don't-
presentation, and you have 3 levels of being self-conscious about yourself, and that's what the Jew brain
Okay,
does.
now-
He is a goy from Florida. He's fine. He smoked a cigarette. His parents were nice to him his whole life.
Very nice.
You see what I mean? It's
I
just
will
different.
say-
Go ahead, Bobby.
I will say someone going long is worse than someone having a cigarette.
Yeah, there you
Way
go.
worse.
And I would
Yeah.
never run the light.
Steve Byrne told me one time he was on the road, and for some reason Brett Ernst was in town. So like Brett came to, he was like, "Can I get a guest spot?" And he's thinking like 15, 20 minutes. And Brett did 45 minutes.
Holy
Are you getting
shit.
pulled over, Bobby?
No, I'm kind of near a hospital. I just got done at the doctor's.
Oh, way to bring it down. No, I'm kidding. And you're feeling all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Well, yeah, I'm good.
Uh-oh.
Well, you know what? Bobby, he talks about it as act. We've had, we're all adults. We all go through regular things. We should probably talk to rental car later. Eric, you were just in Phoenix. You rented a car?
No, I drove my Prius down there.
So what's
We're over there.
Your question, Bobby, is can you rent a car? Is it to rent a car
No,
here?
I'm just saying, if you need to, can you dump your rental car in Phoenix?
Are you asking me specifically,
I
can
believe
or
so.
just in general?
I believe so.
Depends. You have to set that up beforehand, and sometimes that
Definitely.
can cost more money.
Depends on what rental car agency you
Yeah,
use,
I
too.
would shop around, and it can happen, but it's not necessarily cost effective.
I want to say it's probably a $50 or $75 fee to rent here in LA and then drop it off like at the
Depends.
airport in
You
Phoenix.
could,
be
you
more,
could pay
too.
me.
More.
You
It
could
could be
pay me
more.
to drop you off.
See, that's what
Well,
I'm saying.
Okay, go ahead, Bobby.
I'm just saying. I'll talk to you off air, Brody. But
Well, this is great content. Rental car talk. How many people
No,
do a
he warned
podcast
us.
on rental car talk?
I mean, we're saving them time later.
are you getting the insurance, Brody?
Yeah, that's a great question.
No,
do
you
you ever
never
get
get
the
it.
rental?
Never.
Never.
Not
Eric?
for rental, no.
I do get the insurance, yeah. Because
Florida.
I never do.
Florida.
It's basically just rent. It's basically driving your own car, so it'd be your insurance.
I always think,
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's
You
why it's a
have
scam.
insurance
but
already.
I always think of planes, trains, and automobiles, where he's like, "Is this car suitable for the road?" And he's like, "I don't know. The radio still works. You know, the car's all burnt down, and he has to pay for the whole thing."
But that's just a movie.
I don't
man.
remember
that
Do you
show.
have car insurance on your own?
Yeah.
Then you're fine. You don't need it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
scam.
So
okay.
go get a refund.
I've only
Also,
rented
I
a car
think you
3
can
times
use-
in my life.
If your credit card should cover it also.
Yeah.
Also, Eric, do you take even money when you have blackjack and the? And
I don't play blackjack.
okay.
We have Eric
That's another
Aligny on the
scam.
show. But Bobby, I'm glad you called, and I just
So to
but
spread 'em?
But I always
No.
Oh, it's turned into a gambling podcast.
Well, no, I
just
worry because I know he's Christian and from Florida, and I see he wastes his money on rental car insurance. I just wanted to see what other scams.
I've
he was
wasted a
falling for.
lot of money in my life. But
I wouldn't do.
I'm big in
rental car
timeshares.
insurance unless- if it
You
was
like timeshares?
a 1 or 2 day.
there you go. But I always tell Eric, and I'm glad Bobby was here. I say, Eric, I go, when I brought you on the road, I assumed the David Spade role. You assumed my role.
And I learned that Starbucks had a drive-through.
Yeah, I mean, certain kind of small talk. Like, I don't make small talk with Spade. I let him do his thing. I'm there in a support role. I enjoy it, but I'm not making small talk. Very small, very little. Eric, you'll make small talk.
Nervous small talk.
But don't.
Don't.
Freshmen
Be
are to be
cool.
seen, not heard.
Yeah.
And you know what? And if you don't if you just realize that Starbucks has a drive-through for the first time in your life, keep that thought to yourself.
But it also depends on the headliner you're going out with.
Yeah, I mean,
I have a lot of headliners who take me, and I make small talk.
Well, if they're
But
friends.
I think Brody, you got to just
yeah, Brody's not
you got to
into the
read
small
the
talk.
energy.
Yeah.
Exactly. Read the energy. And I'm trying to help him. Like
I
Eric
appreciate going on the road with you because it's like a boot camp for going on the road with other comedians.
There you
You're
go.
the drill sergeant of people you should go out on the road with because I'm learning
it's also
extensively.
good to get on the road early on because you'll fuck up so much. You got to learn etiquette. Like, luckily, like, you know, like, I mean, especially like with Jeff Garland, like, he's always getting mad at me for being late or, you know what I mean? But then you just learn not to do that.
You're not late.
Don't ever be late.
Yeah, we show up on time. Bobby?
I would say with a big name, I never late. And also, if they say do 15 minutes,
Yeah.
do 15.
For
not
sure.
17.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which I always go over.
I've gone long a couple times by mistake. I forgot my watch one time on
And
stage.
if they say not to do crowd work, don't do crowd work.
That's another thing. Yeah,
They
man.
say
It's
be
not
clean,
about you.
Be clean. It's not about you.
Yeah.
But we have fun, and it's all about, like, making for a good show.
How long does Spade do?
55?
How long do you guys do?
About that.
We do like 20, 22 minutes.
That's chill.
I did 25 one time, and David didn't say anything.
Do you guys switch up?
But no, he's laid back. He doesn't like some headliners. Like they have to do an hour every show, you know. But he's not. He's basically let's give him the time limit and then go from there.
That's cool. Do you guys switch up out of you and Brody, who goes on first?
No, just because the chemistry's better because I'm low key, David's low key. So it'd be weird if Brody was super high energy and then I'm low key and David's low key.
So you
Just
go
kinda
up.
mix it up a little bit.
You go up first.
Yeah.
Bobby goes up, he does his stuff, and then I'll go and I'll do some I'll do some jokes off Bobby. You know, I have fun with that. It's a good thing. And I pepper the crowd, go up. Sometimes I'll jump if the crowd needs a little goosey, and I'll go do that. And then I would say most of the time I'm able to like hit my jokes and do that and stay in the pocket and do a professional job. And again, you're out with Spade and you see.
Do you do a lot of crowd work when you're on those shows?
I just said sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Did I or no?
No.
Okay.
Do you have to sell merch for Spade? You sell old copies of Joe Dirt? Get him to autograph it?
Yes, I do. No, we don't.
Little side hustle.
Dave doesn't do any merchandise, really.
He'd kill it.
He probably would, but go ahead,
He wouldn't
Bob.
care if you sold anything.
Oh, no, not the guy. I am a strong believer of features shall never sell anything at a. That's for the headliner.
But could you help me set up the table?
I mean, I'm saying if you're a feature, you're kind of working for the guy. And there needs to be respect. Like with Paulie is a dick. And like,
whoa, man,
I love him, but he
you mean
knows
that in a
that.
fun
But
way.
yeah, and he won't take me anymore. Like he knows better. but you know, it's like certain people like expect you to sell stuff for them. And when you're really young and you're starting out, you got to do that, of course, no doubt. But then after a while, like it would be kind of insulting for somebody to ask you, Brody, to help them sell merch. You wouldn't take that gig.
Depends. Do I get commission?
Well,
Brody would enjoy it though. He would like
Brody's
getting out there and talking to people.
Yeah, you're right. Brody's different though.
I would do if David asked me to do it. I would do it. He's a good guy, and it's like,
I'd sell someone's merch.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
but not every show.
And it's actually
I'm really bad at
He
counting.
wouldn't ask. That's the thing that Dave hasn't. He doesn't like if you don't do lunch, it's not a big deal. Like he'll say, if you want to go to lunch, okay, no big. You don't. I haven't felt any guilt for passing up a lunch, which I haven't done. So I've been pretty good with that. So it's I think we lucked out, and Bobby's a good guy, and it's nice to be a part of that. And I try to, teach what I learned from David and pass it on to other guys and share those experiences. So Bobby, thank you very much for checking in today, and call me later on if you have.
Yeah, it's an off the podcast question. It's about you renting a car. I'm just saying to see if you can drop it if you need to.
But me personally, I am planning on renting a car on Wednesday and then driving to Palm Springs to have Thursday Thanksgiving with my mom, and then either Thursday night or Friday morning drive
Back
to
to
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Do the shows.
Oh wait,
in
are you
Phoenix.
going? You're getting the rental car here and then driving there? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I was going to do, Bobby. Rent the car here and then drive to my mom's in Palm Springs, and then on Friday and Saturday do the shows in Phoenix, and then Sunday drive back to L.A., all in the rental car.
You could just do it in one of those scooters.
I'm just saying, Brody, I'm just saying, here, I'll talk to you about it off, but I'm just saying, do you know if you need to, would you be able to drop it in Phoenix and fly back?
Oh, so you're saying there might be an option of me flying back, possibly?
I don't know. Yeah, possibly. I'm just saying. I don't want you to have to get stuck driving back, and because traffic back from Phoenix is a nightmare from Thanksgiving.
So you're saying this is how Bobby is. Bobby's a good guy. He's looking out for me. And then David, if he offers a flight, he's okay with it. It could be.
Why don't you just ride on his private jet?
Sometimes there's a private jet. Sometimes it's a regular flight. It depends. And I will look into that possibility of dropping the car off in Phoenix. Again, if David wants me on that flight, I will be on that 45-minute flight.
What kind of venues does David do?
Go ahead, Bobby. I'll let you answer this one.
Basic, just improvs or sometimes basic.
He does weekends.
Theaters. Yeah.
And a few theaters.
Improvs, whatever. He's not has to be theaters or anything like that. It's just whatever. He just kind of likes going on the road.
We've done theaters. We did Northern Iowa. That was like 1,400 people on their campus. That was a theater. We did Branson, Missouri.
One, yeah.
We did, in terms of theaters, we did the Wilbur Theater in Boston. We did the Hampton, New Hampshire. Was a big venue, like 1,700 people.
That was the one where I felt we had to work. The other ones have been pretty easy, or have been good. That one was work.
Wait, which one?
New Hampshire, Hampton Beach Casino, they call it. It's not a casino, but it's a big, that's what they call it. It's on the beach, and it's kind of a rough area. And
it felt like a carnival. It felt like you were on a stage in the middle of a carnival.
Did you guys ever do flappers?
No comment.
Actually, David, we might be doing something. I'm doing something at Flappers with the Dodgers.
I've been going there more.
You have been? Mm-hmm. Bobby, you ever go to Flappers?
Yeah, I love Flappers.
You do? See, Bobby blends in.
Previously a macaroni grill, Flappers.
There you go.
That's why the kitchen's so nice.
Bobby Miyamoto, right here, soccer player, Arizona State University, raised in Boise, Idaho, born in Hawaii. And has jokes, has a good energy. People like having him around, and I consider him a friend. And the relationship is only growing when you start talking rental cars. That's an indicator.
That's some intimate shit.
That's intimate.
I love rental cars.
There you go. Bobby, call me later. We're going to, tonight if you want, and we'll
okay,
or this afternoon, whatever. Or you want to stay and listen to the podcast, you feel free to listen.
What is it on? I'm actually driving on the 405 right now.
I mean, you can just put us on speakerphone. I mean, you could actually listen right now.
You know what? I got to make some calls.
We'll patch you through.
Okay. Yeah, do you have two-way calling? Put them on.
Yeah.
Everybody call out. No, all right, Bobby Miyamoto, everybody, there he goes. He's on the 405 making phone calls. Yes!
All right, Brody. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.
See you, Bobby.
All right.
Later, Bobby.
Now, here's the deal with Bobby. And he spoke about it. He talks about it.
Mm-hmm.
He had a stroke.
Oh, no.
He had a stroke about...
How old is he?
He's 45, but he looks like he's 35. He's Asian.
He just had a stroke.
Well, yeah. He had we played Aspen. We did Aspen, Colorado, and Dave took us there. And I actually had altitude sickness. We went skiing.
Oh, I get that.
We did a couple shows.
I love Aspen.
I love altitude sickness. And we
got higher.
We got back. They have pot there. You can walk in and get pot in Aspen. And then we got back, and then Bobby, I don't think he was feeling that great. And then he had a car accident. He got in a car like rear-ended.
Oh.
In Aspen?
This is right after Aspen. So he had the altitude sickness. Then he came back and had a fender bender.
Yeah.
And then right after that, he started getting these headaches.
Ooh.
He had a headache thing, and then I'll let him. Let's call him back and have him talk about it.
So, but is that why? It was the fender bender what gave him?
We don't know. It's possible. I mean, it's a possible of a number of things. It could have been the altitude. It could have been the fender bender. It could have been stress. But it was, and he talks about it.
Damn.
He had a stroke, and so he was in the hospital, and then he. He does speech therapy. He speaks pretty well. So Bobby's doing good. It's like people. I always tell him, like, people come back from strokes. Teddy Bruschi, was an NFL football player, came back to playing NFL football from a stroke, and then he's on TV too. But that's a scary thing, of course, and I don't think that's something you can plan for.
You could have promoted episode 51 with Bobby Miyamoto on iTunes. You can go listen to that and listen to the story.
Because he talked about it on episode 51?
I think it's 51 or 50.
Hey, when are we going to talk about the fires?
That's a good question.
Okay, so we have Erica Ligney here, who is look, do I smell the smoke now? No. But here's the thing. Even last week, and Earl and Tony, they dig, but they smelt it also. It's only in a sense to try and help Eric. We're trying to help eliminate things that might.
How old are you, Eric?
I'm 38.
You're not going to help him. He is what he is. He's a 38-year-old man. He's going to smell like cigarettes because he smokes them. It's just what's up.
I like that call.
But but what about the Dr. Pepper that he drank? Now, Eric, you don't have Dr. Pepper today. Oh, you have it right there.
No, that's mine.
Benji's. Yes, I didn't bring
That's
it today,
so
and Benji did.
I wouldn't expect you.
I was waiting for that to happen.
Oh, you brought the Dr. Pepper?
That's kind of surprises me.
A little bit, but Benji's
Thank you,
okay.
Benji.
I'm not going to come. I will never.
Do you drink diet or
I won't
regular?
come down on Benji.
Yeah, this is diet.
Okay. I won't come down on Benji because Benji,
He's successful.
if you want to call it that.
What do you want to call it?
Eric, I see you. You don't have Dr. Pepper today. That's a positive.
Yeah, I purposely left it in my car.
That's not good. You're going to drink it after it's been hot in your
No,
car?
I just left it in there. I had something to drink on the way.
But here's the thing. It's also funny. Like it's like again, like I try and tell you. I say, be who you are. Be the redneck guy. Be the country bumpkin. If we can have a little fun with it, and I think you're figuring that out. You learn to Don's into character. We're playing. Sometimes it's playing a character a little bit. But also, it's just I am trying to drinking diet soda or drinking soda is not good. I'm not saying
I've never promoted it as healthy because it's not. It's
I know,
very unhealthy.
but when you walk around the Comedy Store with soda, that's probably not a good image you want to put on.
But it is a
That's
better.
what I'm getting at.
I don't walk around with anything. Then.
I walk around with Sprite now. Like
Just don't walk around with anything.
Yeah.
Why do you have to walk around with something? It's
I
a
always
comedy
have a-
club. You're there to work.
Perrier.
That's okay. Water's okay.
No, but it's just a simple thing. It's like just the cigarette smoke. It's going to be more. It's going to hurt you more than it's going to help you. Is what I'm getting at.
I don't think he's in that position.
But he is. He's booking. He booked the guests here. He went to All Things Comedy. He's going on the road with some people.
Yeah, but I don't think him smelling like cigarettes is going to be what makes or breaks
There's enough
him.
comedians that smoke cigarettes.
Yeah. I
It's
think
like-
I think you just focus on your comedy.
And I do really well on stage now, so I'm not having problems there. I'm not having problems on stage, so that's good.
You're not at all.
No, I wouldn't say. Well, I'd say my sets lately have been really great. Like a lot of fun. I'm not having these moments where there's a lot of silence in the room.
Do you have some on tape?
Yeah, I've got.
Let's see
Can
it.
you go get one right now?
No, but I do have.
Why? You don't have it on your voice memo?
I mean, I'm actually weirdly enough. I put
You're
the flash.
pulling out your wallet. Do you have a voice memo?
I have a SD card with all my Reno sets on it, but I've got
Reno Tahoe.
I gotta take it to the Comedy Store tonight because we're trying to figure out because we think they're encrypted.
Is that what next to your condom? You keep a.
I don't use condoms, Brody.
Are you serious?
No.
You are serious
Yeah, I'm serious.
that you don't use them.
No.
Why are you doing stuff like this?
It's okay to not use them. You just can't admit it.
Oh, my bad.
So you're not using condoms. You're
No.
drinking soda. You're smoking cigarettes, and you didn't know that Starbucks had a drive-through. It all makes sense.
That's weird. The Starbucks thing.
Yeah, I
Very
realize that
uncultured.
now. I realize it now after hearing everybody tell me how
There's
weird it
just
is.
a lot of Florida in you.
I love that. I'm Florida. I mean, I'm not.
You're from Tampa, right?
Right.
You grew up there?
Yeah.
What do your parents do?
My mom worked as a lobbyist for Verizon, so she was in basically politics.
And your dad?
My dad is a computer.
His dad goes to raves.
My dad's 73 years old and loves EDM music. But
Really?
he went to EDC Orlando this last weekend. It's pretty awesome. But no, he's a computer science, I guess a computer engineer. He's built things, and then basically he went into people's websites and told them, hey, this is where you're lacking in security. I can take care of it.
He's like a consultant.
Yeah, and so that's what he does. He's done his whole life.
Are they happy that you're pursuing comedy?
Yeah, they both love it, and now that I'm getting actually better at it and not a terrible comic,
They
they
feel-
can actually feel more proud.
When you say get better at it, what's the defining?
when people actually acknowledge that you're funny, when you're on stage and people acknowledge you by their laughter, by telling good jokes, not by just sitting there and saying I farted or I pooped out my butt to get a laugh. You're making real words come out that make their brain say, "Oh, that's funny."
Do you have siblings?
Yes.
How many?
2 older brothers.
What do they do?
One is in construction for Walmart, and the other one is a computer engineer like my father.
Right. And so you're the youngest. The youngest is often the stand-up.
Wait, let me get back to
I'm
this.
the oldest.
And I'm not denying it. You say you're getting better at comedy.
Yeah.
Is it?
I'm not saying I'm great. I'm just saying
I
I'm
know.
getting
Oh,
better.
you're getting better. Is it based off laughs? Is it based off getting more shows? Is it based off rankings? Is it based off booking gigs?
I would say it's based off what I just did with going around the country in my Prius and doing all those shows and seeing where I went from Reno at the Laugh Factory, where I went from there to 5 months later when I was opening for Leslie Jones, and I could see the difference in those sets. This set was tight. I knew exactly what I was doing. I went in, I wasn't nervous. The sets in Reno, I was a little nervous. I didn't know really where I stood, and I didn't feel as confident in my material. When now I go up and I'm just like, I'm confident this works, and if they don't like it, it's just those people didn't like my comedy. But
Well, what? Yeah. Okay. Where's they and where's that happening? So you did Leslie like this week. Where were you to say, okay, I had these shows, I did good.
I did a guest spot for Ian Bagg at the Tempe Improv. Had a really great set, and
This week?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you're like hustling. You're getting on the road.
Yeah,
That's what I used to do.
Yeah, and I had to because LA you can't develop. You can't develop as much as you want to with 3 to 5 minute sets.
I used to drive to La Jolla all the time for the Wednesday, Thursday shows
we've
to
done that.
perform for free.
Yeah.
I used to do it at least once a month when I was a door guy. I would drive down there because there used to be no audiences, and a month would go by and you'd be like, I haven't been in front of an actual audience in like a month. So you'd go to La Jolla, you'd have a real audience, and it'd keep your.
That was kind of the move sometimes to be Sunday, Monday potluck at the store, and then Wednesday, Thursday, you get to stay at the condo.
A condo used to be way chiller.
And then probably not have anything for the weekend. But hey, I just got 4 spots this week and I've been doing stand-up for a year and a half.
Right. And you'd come back to LA and everyone's doing their open mics, and you're like, I just did shows for 100 people 2 nights
Yeah.
in a row. It was such a good feeling.
Yeah.
That helped me a lot.
And the open mics. Ugh.
I mean, I'm not knocking it, Eric. I know you. I just want to know, like, comedy. Is it like I guess it's a feel, right? It's like, is it somebody saying you're doing good, or is it actual? I mean, you did Tampa. I mean, you did Tampa and you did Tempe.
Yeah, and I did House of Comedy with Sam Tripoli. He enjoyed it.
Okay.
I'm not saying he was overwhelmed by me. I'm just saying he liked my comedy. It wasn't like he was embarrassed to have me on the show.
Maybe that's the thing, because I think that what got more consistent was the people I looked up to were not just like, hey, get set, like, what are you doing? You got to get here. Like, Tripoli is a great example of a guy that, I mean, every time, I would see him after, like, he would see me do a set, be like, why don't you get a man? I mean, this is years ago, but, like, that's black belt stuff. It's like people you start looking up to.
Well,
and when that started happening a lot, you know?
And they start taking their time to
Like, to
actually
me,
tell
like,
you.
because you're not getting real credits in the beginning, so, like, these personal credits to hold you over. So, like, little things, like, and they're not that little, but they don't mean anything to anybody but you, and more of those happen. A milestone, like...
Moral victories.
Ian Edwards told me I was funny. He's like, you're funny, man. You always are.
that's a good feeling.
Yeah, and that was, like, years and years ago, and I thought, like, that was a credit. I mean, I can never put that on IMDb. You don't bring me up to the thing, but inside, it's like, oh, I'm not crazy.
Well, it's like, for me, at the Comedy Store, for example, when back in 2000, Joe Rogan said I was funny, came up to me, I forget what he said, but something, Joe Rogan said I was good, and then Dice also came up to me, because I never went up to him, he came up to me, you're funny, or something like that. So I just needed, like, you're right, you just need a couple guys that, even Eddie Murphy came up to me at the Coffee Bean. He saw my stand-up on Comedy Central, and he saw, like, a commercial for me, and he checked out my stuff, and he told me about it. He goes, hey, I want to see if you were funny. You were good. Eddie Murphy.
Damn,
That's
dude.
pretty awesome.
So, yeah, he would see me
Who's
at Coffee Bean.
the biggest guy to compliment you?
A lot. I've got, everyone gets them. Not to be like I've gotten a lot, but I remember when I was really young, still a door guy.
Yeah.
Billy Zane came up to me.
I remember
that's
that.
awesome.
Yeah.
He loved you.
Yeah, and he came up to me and he was just like so complimentary, and I was just like, "Oh my God, Billy
And
Zane!"
it was like the
Titanic.
lights. Yeah, the lights were still on in the OR. It was so early, and it just lightning struck in Benji's favor, and Billy Zane was there, and literally walked up to him after, and like we all saw it, like holy fuck, dude.
But that's the kind of stuff that can happen in Los Angeles. You never know who's in the audience, and then Billy Zane could have something. Go, I'm gonna, I got something. That does happen in Los Angeles. Todd Phillips from The Hangover, he saw me performing. You just don't know. I mean, you hear so many stories. That's why you get those spots at the Comedy Store, or even the Improv, or sometimes the Laugh Factory, and you feel like, or Largo, you just never know who's there. So in the back of your mind, you put out. I mean, that's how I think. I never mail it in. I'm always doing that. And knock on wood, I've been able to keep getting like cool, be a part of things at least, like the David Spade, and now I get to do an Ian Edwards special.
That's another thing that changes too. Like that, I think that's the real thing when you're really starting to do good. At least to like consistently, like your stride. You know what I mean? Like you're in your lane and you're not proving anything anymore. It's like you're just like getting the real work done without even thinking of it like that. But people start relying on you more. Like people in comedy rely on me to do a job in comedy. Multiple people. The stakes get higher.
I remember every single comedian who was nice to me or helped me out or said something nice or encouraging when I first started. I remember every single one.
All of them.
Me too.
Yeah.
You were actually
there's
a
not
really
one that
good
slipped
person to
through.
me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, throughout my 8 years at the Comedy Store, you were always very nice to me. Same with Matt Edgar. And Ari Shafir.
Ari's great. Ari, there's like I think there's the circle of life with comedians. Like it's almost like a Jedi. Like you get to a certain point and then you have to give it back because you never would have got there.
Yeah.
Everybody does.
I think Tony does a good job with that, with the Kill Tony, giving it back. I think Jeff Ross and the roast battles, me with my podcast guests, always giving it back.
You're helping.
But that's the way to go, to always give back. Even when I did all those oddball tour shows, I did like 40 oddball at the amphitheater, and I hosted all the side stages. I had 4 or 5 comedians, and they were always nervous because it was like daylight, it was hot, it was outside, and I gave them a pep talk, and you're going to do great, and you always want to like help. It's like basketball. You're always like, it's team. It's like improv. You're helping out Spade. I'm helping out these guys. I'm helping out you. It's never about, me. Sometimes
The me people never get real far.
And you
They
can
really
see them,
don't.
They're climbers, and you just like, it's a waste.
No, it's just because stand-up attracts like narcissist, self-centered people, and
Yeah.
so some people just triple down on those negative things, and,
Right.
and then they end up on there and no one likes them.
But you've hosted a lot. You've hosted the potluck.
Yeah.
You've hosted a lot. I've done a ton of warm-up. I've done hosting. So that's where you really learn to be that assist guy, that team
Right.
guy. It's about the show. And I learned that you just learn that.
I only hosted when I first started because it was the easiest way to get a spot, and I always felt like no one wanted me because I just didn't understand
Right.
how to get in on shows. So every single person who had a show, I just go, if you need a host, let me know. If you need a host, let me know. And no one wanted to do it, and so I would do it.
But there's a in terms of like getting jobs or getting opportunities, I really feel like it's an energy. It's not like you don't have to, it's like, I'm playing the game. Don't play the game. Just like do it. Like show your face. It's not about,
Yeah.
like I'm going to go there. Good things are going to happen. But you can't put pressure on yourself and say, I'm going there to show my face, to get this, and how do I do that? As opposed to like, I would just learn early on, be funny. Funny, and then stuff, that's the way I did it, but you also do have to ask, and you do have to do some other things.
Yeah, but you have to ask. You have to be smart. You have to ask for what's already yours. It's like you don't just ask for something off of like, oh, I could see myself. I remember when I was really young, I wanted to be James Bond. I wanted to be like an American James Bond, like be that actor. I mean, obviously, I got older and like was like, oh no, I don't have those chops. I'm not that. It's not really what I do. And it's like being realistic. So I'd never ask for anything. Or like SNL. There's nothing I could do for SNL.
I don't know.
Well, who knows? But I don't think so.
Okay.
But like, say I want to. Well, I know that I could do good on this stand-up show. There's an open spot in Comedy Juice or whatever, and somebody needs to fill 20 minutes in between Judd and whatever. Like, I mean, that's just one, basic thing that I think I could, no matter what, like, oh yeah, I could ask for that. Oh, that I find out it's open. Can I do that spot? Like, that's not asking anything crazy. I know I'll kill it, no matter what. But if I were to ask, hey man, can I get an audition for some, huge movie, from Todd Phillips movie? Like, I don't deserve.
Why not? I'd ask for that.
It depends on what chips are in order. Like, if I know Todd Phillips, I know somebody on it, and it just seems like
me.
They're like, dude, they need a guy like you. Like, there's people ask for shit that's outside their range, and that's.
Can I ask for something? Can we play the baseball card game today?
Yeah, but why are you asking that now?
Because it's getting close to time.
We're having a great conversation. Who told you to ask about the baseball card game?
It was
He's
on
a producer.
asking.
He just has to keep the show running like
I was just trying to keep it in order.
This thing was going places. We didn't.
It's gone places. It's been great.
We
today.
never
from
talked about the
Tampa.
fires.
We
Hey,
never talked about the fires.
You want a different booker producer to help you? Go to the Hillel and get some Jewish person with the same mental problems you have.
I don't have mental problems, Benji.
And then
I don't
they'll be
have. How dare you? I played Division I baseball. I coached football
I'll
in high
scout 'em
school.
for you.
No, I didn't mean mental.
coached
I mean
baseball in college.
The same Jew circuitry as you, and then you guys will be more on the same wavelength. You got a guy.
No, we
who's
would
the
fight.
opposite.
We would fight.
No, that's not.
I'd probably be in a fight with the guy. I fight with my sister. She's just like me, except she has breasts and a hair lip. It's one of my old bits.
I thought it was. I was like, that sounds familiar.
It's one of my old bits. Real quick. I just tell guys, and I learned this early on, if you're funny, you'll get stuff. Like they'll come to you. I feel like you do have to ask. I understand there's that approach too, but at the core of that's my thinking. Yeah. And I've been able to not necessarily capitalize and cash in on something, but I get myself in the ballpark by making myself open and by being funny and not having any ulterior motives. Like, I'm Brody, I'm here, all fun. Oh yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, I'm open to it. But have I, have that killer mentality on it to know? But that's what I try and tell people. Like, get in the room. I can get you in the room. And it's a feel, it's a vibe, and it's about, honestly, being positive. You got to be uplifting. That's why I hang around baseball. They like uplifting people.
Well, you found your mood to work in that works best for you. Some people, like John Caparulo, used to have to get mad.
And I'm not gonna knock Caparulo. I'm not that.
No, I mean anybody. But I'm saying anybody has a lot of people when they feel off energies. Sometimes their mood is funnier.
It's funny when people get angry.
You're funny as a positive guy.
No, he's funny when he's negative.
Yeah, people like when I get mad.
Yeah, that is true, actually.
He's yelling about being positive when he's being.
But
negative.
at least I'm bringing some kind of energy, and I've been able to it was
that
good
is
that
your
I did
that is your factory. Like that's how you do. That's how you make comedy. It's always
his comedy,
mad about how positive.
His comedy's defensive comedy.
Yeah, I'm defensive.
You don't get it.
Because when he's defensive, he can then be the victim, and then when he's defensive, he can also talk about all his accolades.
Right, which is the funniest.
That's his,
but it's like, if I'm so bad, why was I in that movie?
No, you're like a heel wrestler.
I like that.
It's like everything's about how great you are, but it's all backhand.
Oh, I see some Fleer in there. Is that some Fleer?
Yeah, but the reason why I say that because it's all about credits, right? You see on people's flyers. You've seen him on this. You've seen him on that. From this, from that, from this, from that. And then you see like movie, it's all about credits. So I play that credit game. I don't walk into Starbucks. I'm on Hangover. Give me a coffee. I'm Brody. I do 3,000. I don't do that. But I know it's funny to say it on stage. And I know that, it does mean something in a small way, but I would never use that.
You should go watch Brody's special on iTunes.
I know it.
Brody Stevens in the main room.
I think it's a kind of special that might get, over time, it might, grow.
Cult classic.
Yeah.
Go watch Valley Vibes on YouTube also at All Things Comedy.
What's that?
That's a thing where Brody went through the valley and did interviews and basically.
I did Reseda. Did you see the card I pulled?
I saw a Dodger thing.
Oh, never. Well, there you go. Why don't you stop looking, Benji?
I didn't realize it first.
Well, because Eric made us play the frickin' baseball card game. What the heck are you doing?
I think it's great. I think you're going to have fun playing the baseball card game. Hold on 1 second. It's part of the Festival of Friendship.
Hold on. Sorry about that. What'd you say, Eric?
We need to play the baseball card game because it's part of the Festival of Friendship. or a festival of sports mixed with the festival of friendship.
Oh, you want to play the baseball card game with me?
Yeah.
I'm looking for a card. I'm looking for a card. I'm looking for a card. I'm looking for a card.
Hopefully that's not Def Leppard's drummer.
Brody.
I'm looking for a card. I've got a card.
Yes.
I'm going to do it. Wait, hold on. I'm going to load the gun.
Yeah.
I'm going to fire the gun. That wasn't too loud, was it?
No, it was okay. I saw that coming.
Did you
I
get
saw
that
the
for
fart
Earl?
button. I was like, any second now.
Wait. Hold on.
It's an unbelievable phone. I don't buy it.
Oh, you don't buy it?
Studio's phone?
Hello?
Is that Bobby Miyamoto?
Bobby, are you there? It's Brody. You want to play the it's
Well, I was curious what this one is.
Hey everybody, I'm Stephen Brody Stevens. You got it. Things are going great. I was born in the San Fernando Valley. Apple cider
You ever-
vinegar.
You ever up in the OR and Jeff Scott does that when you say something lame?
He'll do that.
Every now and then he'll just, I'm like, oh, dude, come on, man.
That's a tough one. Hold on one quick.
Oh, there's more pages.
Oh yeah, I've got
I want this. Ooh, that doesn't sound good.
These are new favorites. I just worked on this. This is like Eric, how are you doing today? Wait, hold on.
Sounds like a Modest Mouse.
Eric, how are you doing? Say, I'm doing great.
I'm doing great.
So dumb.
You know, because it's energy based. I can't just go into I can't go into sound effects theater. Okay, now we have a baseball card here in my hand right now. I think everybody here knows his name. That being said, this is from these cards are from 1988. So this player, the season that I'm holding the card would be 87, but it's an 88 card. I would think that everybody here knows his name.
Kirby Puckett.
That's a great guess. You're out of order. I can't accept it. We're going to go with Matt first.
I don't know anything.
Major League Baseball.
Okay. Ken Griffey Jr.
That's a great guess.
No, it's
I can't.
not.
Hold on. Benji. This is the baseball card game. That's a good guess.
It's not.
Okay. Now, Benji, you have a guess.
You've given me nothing. You've given no clues. There's a
Because
zillion...
you're supposed to ask questions.
Okay.
You get one question. First, you start off with a guess. It's a guess.
Did he ever
Are they a
do?
pitcher?
Now, hold on.
This is a pitcher, bro.
Stop it. Because Matt didn't get you. Here's the thing. The first guess, there's no clues. So you guessed, who'd you say, Kirby Puckett?
No, I said Ken Griffey Jr.
Okay. That's a good guess, but I can't accept it.
Is it a pitcher?
You can't ask that yet.
You just have to guess a
Then
player.
why are you
first.
pointing at me?
Because it's your guess.
I just named players?
Just once. The first one
Don't.
you guess a player.
Benji.
Okay, Fred McGriff.
Wrong.
Am I in on this?
You want to
to
play or no? Let's just go with these two guys.
I'll
for
just
now.
ask questions. I won't play.
Okay.
Is it a
Okay.
pitcher?
Yes.
Are they a lefty?
It's his guess. You one question at a time. Stop pushing my game. Matt, go ahead.
Did he ever eat steroids?
I'm going to say no.
Are they...
He gets a guess.
So you take a question.
So he's not a
guess
controversial
player.
guy. I don't know anything about baseball.
But here's the deal.
He said you would know.
You've already done a good job.
Thanks.
Okay. No, he's not a steroid guy.
All right. Then I really want to know who he is. The only players I like.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it a white guy?
Now you're playing the game. He is not white.
Okay.
Dominican.
Not Dominican.
Okay. That was my guess.
But he's not Dominican, but he's not white. Benji, would you like to guess?
Is he Mexican?
Benji, would you like to guess, not ask a question?
Fernando Venezuela.
Fernando Venezuela?
Valenzuela, sorry.
No.
So is he Hispanic?
No, he's a black guy.
One at a time.
Ask if
Is he
he's black.
Hispanic or Latino?
Does he come from a Spanish-speaking country? Is he Hispanic?
Yes. So now you're playing the game.
So he's not Dominican.
You're playing the game. Maybe you can help out Benji with this. I mean, help out Matt.
Yeah, it's pretty much just you now, Benj.
Matt, that's not the ad. I need to see this guy who choked out somebody at the beach. You're like saying, no, I'm not going to have it.
What
Go ahead
league-
and throw Snapple bottles at me.
What league was he predominantly in?
Predominantly
Yeah.
national. He wasn't American. And when I say you're going to know this name, when you're going to know it, and I say you know it, and I'm not just saying you know it to say you know it. I'm saying you know it because I know you know it. And now you have clues that he is Latino. He's not African American. Do we say he's a pitcher or not?
Yeah, he's a pitcher.
So he's a non-African American Latino pitcher. And I'm telling you, Benji, you know who he is.
And he's mostly National League.
Mostly National League.
Is he a starting pitcher?
Yes, mostly yes, known for that. How do you know, Eric?
I said good question because I wanted to know if he was a starting pitcher.
Oh, you
or
don't know the
relieving
card.
pitcher.
Okay.
No.
Well, if it's not
I'm trying
Fernando
to guess.
and he played in the 80s,
This card is from the 80s, so he might have gone on a little beyond.
I'd go to the Martinez brothers, but I don't know if he was around then. Is it Pedro?
That's a fan. Yeah, I'm going to tell you.
Is it
something.
Ramon?
Hold that thought.
Yeah.
These are fantastic guesses. You can't be more right on with those two guesses that you made. They're incorrect, but you are as close could be.
Okay.
Would you like to assist Matt? Would you like? I see you're cheating.
No, I was not.
I was really
I
young
wouldn't even know
then.
where to begin to
Yeah,
find
so
this
was I.
answer.
Because you have
87's
to
hard.
listen. You have to listen to the clues.
So his last name's Martinez
Now, how did Eric come up with that?
because he said Pedro and Vic and.
So how did
Dennis Martinez.
That's how you play the baseball card game. There
you
you go.
Damn.
That's how you play the game, Matt.
Damn.
He didn't quit. I'm not saying you quit, but it was
Well,
pretty
no, but
close.
I would have
It was
never
pretty
got
close.
it, though. You have to know that. I don't know anything about baseball.
You don't know how the baseball game is because I would have turned it into something where.
Oh, I hear you.
Then it
So
would have been
okay,
like, okay,
yeah.
he's
All right.
the menace. Dennis the Menace. Oh, boom. But I would have gone to that level. We could always put on training wheels.
Yeah.
We could put on the floaties.
This was hard. He didn't really have that good of a career.
no,
Was that a more obscure character or player?
yeah.
He was there, but yeah, he wasn't. It's a little obscure, I think.
Echo chamber.
He's the menace. Dennis the menace.
Now, hold on.
I would have gone to that level. We could always put on training.
Hold on right here.
to put on the
Hold on right here. Everybody hold on.
I guess he had a good long career.
Everybody hold on. By the way, let's you guys were great today. Did you have a good time, Benji?
Yeah, of course I did. I always have a great time with you, Brody.
Matt?
Brody, I love hanging with you, man. Remember when we used to go to Harvest Moon?
Yep. It's expensive now.
Yeah.
Benji, where are you going? Hold on, we're in the middle of something.
Wait, what are we hearing?
He's rewinding the podcast.
I want to see what's going on. Hold on one second.
Wait,
You
what's
guys are
going
great
on
today.
right now?
Yeah,
Is the podcast still
do you
happening?
hear-
The podcast is still happening.
Why are we
Are we in a
listening?
pre-post
Why we-
podcast?
Yeah.
Remember
what
we used to go to Harvest Moon?
What kind of podcast is this
Yep.
that replays
It's
what they just heard?
What the
Benji,
fuck
where are you
are
going?
you doing?
Benji, sit still. That's not how you play the baseball card game.
Wait, what are we hearing?
He's rewinding the podcast.
I want to see what's going on. Hold on one second.
It's the
What's
live
going on
feed.
right now?
Benji, we're doing a
podcast
podcast.
still
The podcast is still happening.
Why are we
Are we in a
listening?
This is
Live
echo
podcast.
chamber.
Yeah.
Remember
what,
we used to go to Harvest Moon?
what kind of podcast?
Yeah,
is this
it's
that
expensive
replays
now.
What they just heard.
What the
Benji, where
fuck
are you
are you
going?
doing?
I have a sandwich in
Benji,
my
sit
car.
still. Benji, stop talking how you play the baseball card game.
This is like a nightmare.
Is this how it ends?
Who says that?
Sometimes.
Wait, Eric, don't speak on the podcast.
Are you doing
Eric, don't speak on the podcast.
Are you doing some
Benji, we're
Reggie
doing a
Watts comedy
podcast.
right
The
now?
podcast is still happening.
This is echo chamber.
Eric, let me tell him it's echo chamber. Yeah, it's expensive now.
What they just heard.
What the fuck are you doing?
You want to talk about the fires? Still, Benji, stop talking. How you play the baseball card game? Benji,
Is this how it ends?
it's not a nightmare, man.
Sometimes.
Wait, Eric, don't speak on
I
the podcast.
might go grab that sandwich out of my car. Is that okay?
You're gonna get what?
Are you
On
doing
the
a sandwich
Are
in
you
my
doing
car?
some Reggie Watts
A
comedy?
sandwich?
Yeah, he
Can I
has
go
a
grab
sandwich.
it? I don't want my car to
Echo
smell.
chamber.
Eric, stop telling him it's echo chamber. Let me tell him it's echo chamber.
I'll let you tell him it's
Talk about the
echo
fires?
chamber.
You want to talk about the fires? Or I could start one. Benji,
Is this how it ends?
it's not a nightmare, man. Oh, we're still going. Eric, don't speak on
I
the
might go grab
podcast.
that sandwich out of my car. Is that okay?
No, wait, what?
Can I go pee real
Sandwich
fast?
in my
Wait, where are you going, Matt?
I gotta
Sandwich?
pee.
Yeah, he
Can I
has
go
a
grab
sandwich.
it? I don't want my car to smell.
Eric, stop telling him it's echo chamber. Let me tell him it's echo chamber. It's echo chamber.
I'll let you
Everyone,
tell him it's echo chamber.
you want to talk about the fires? Or I could start one. Okay, listen.
Is this how it ends?
Eric, where are you going? Oh, we're still going. We got to take a photo. We're going to take a photo. Hold on. No,
Can I
what?
go pee real fast?
Matt, where are you going? Matt?
I gotta pee.
Okay, Matt's going to go pee.
I don't want
Are you just going to go pee? Wait, go get them, Eric. Go get them, Eric. It's echo chamber. Eric, go get those guys. You want to talk about the fires? Or I can start one. Okay, listen. Where do these guys go? Eric, where are you going? Oh, we're still going. We got to take a photo. We're going to take a photo. Somebody stop it. No, what? Matt, where are you going? Matt, where are you going? Okay, Matt's going to go pee. Everybody left me. Wait, go get them, Eric. Eric, tell them to stop. Go get them, Eric. It's echo chamber. Eric, go get those guys. You want to talk about the fires? I can start one. Okay, listen. Where do these guys go? Eric, where are you going, man? Oh, we're still going. We got to take a photo. Give me a break, man. I got a show tonight. Matt, where are you going? Matt, where are you going? Aligny, you smell like cigarettes. Everybody left me. I'm a good guy. Come on. Eric, tell them to stop. Go get them, Eric. It's echo chamber. Eric, go get those guys. You want to talk about the fires? Eric, where do these guys go? Give me a break, man. I got a show tonight. Eric, where do these guys go? Aligny, you smell like cigarettes. Seriously. Ow! Ow! That hurt my ears. All right, listen. That was too much. Eric, where do they go? Okay, I got to relax. Everyone, they couldn't take it. They couldn't take it. I had both guests walk out mid-echo chamber. It's never happened before. I'm going to wrap it up. It was a good show today. We had Benji Aflalo on the show. We had Mat Edgar on the show. We had Eric Aligny helping out the show. We did the baseball card game. We just did echo chamber. We talked about a lot of cool things. We had Emma working on the technical side, making sure everything is plugged in and doing what they need to do on the ones and twos. I am Brody. I'm going to say this was a success. And let's go ahead and come on in for real quick. We're going to wrapping it up. Who's that? It's coming in. It's locked? Oh, we locked out the guests. All right, let's go ahead. Mat Edgar is back in. He had to leave the echo chamber to get some fresh air. Great job on the podcast. You're
Thanks,
good.
man.
You're a good podcast guest. Podcaster. Podcast. You're a good guest. You're a good podcaster. All that stuff. I saw Jeff Garland yesterday.
Where at?
Gelson's.
Oh, you ran into him.
I was at the salad bar.
Oh, that's awesome.
I didn't see him. He was going in. I didn't get a chance to talk to him.
Oh, you didn't say hi?
I didn't get
He
a
would
chance
have loved
to.
to say hi to you. Why would you not say hi to him?
Because I was thinking about this podcast. I was preparing for
It's
it.
a very Curb thing to like gripe about too. Like, oh, why didn't you say hi to me?
I know, right? Curb is like, those are like real stories. It's amazing how they come up with it. I mean, those are things that we think about.
You know what?
Basically.
It's great Jumer.
That's funny. Amy Jumer. Is that what they call her? She's Jewish.
Is she Jewish?
Yes. And you didn't know that.
No.
Because she's blonde. They threw you off.
I can't really tell.
know.
I guess I can if you look really Jewy. But if you're on the fence, no way.
I know. Chelsea's Jewish. I think Chelsea Handler. She, what's the word, is not defines as a Jewish. She presents as a Jewish person.
Right.
And I think
Well, I didn't
Amy
even-
does. Amy does also. Benji, good job. Thank you.
Does Esther seem Jewish?
Yes.
Podcast though?
Yeah, you want to
Yeah.
say goodbye on here?
Yeah, sure.
You did a good job. And you, how did it feel winning the baseball card game?
Yeah, I knew Dennis Martinez's name, but he was a little before my time and never really put together amazing seasons while I was playing attention baseball. But
But he threw that perfect game against the Dodgers in '91. That's why I knew you would
yeah,
know him.
yeah, no,
That's
I knew the
pretty cool.
name.
I always liked the Doc Ellis story.
Have you heard of this guy, Matt, though? Dennis Martinez? He's never come across your radar. Growing up here in L.A., seeing like Dodger highlights of them getting a perfect game against
Never
them.
into the baseball.
Okay. You know what? I have no.
I'm letting go of baseball myself.
Really?
Yeah.
Why,
No
after the
way.
Dodgers lost?
I'm just not enjoying it. I'm a little frustrated with the sport and my team.
Was it that experience you had at the stadium? Had something to do with it?
It's I don't like what they did with the home plate collisions and the second base slides.
Yeah, you're old school.
I also just think it's not a violent sport. There's a lot of goodwill there. There's a way to play the game right where nobody gets hurt, and if you hurt someone, you know, before I think the rules were fine, and I think it's just like managers being selfish that they don't want their big dollar players getting hurt, and I think it messed up the game. I was a little upset with baseball the way they handled the Yu Darvish thing a couple years ago. I don't think they handled it well.
Can I ask what you're referring to?
Where Yu Darvish was racially taunted by the other team, and I didn't really feel like...
Oh, with the eyes?
Yeah, I didn't really feel like baseball did anything about it. I feel like they should have suspended him right then and there, and by letting it happen later, I think it really rubbed me the wrong way just because I feel like Major League Baseball, a big part of their marketing is diversity and the World Baseball Classic and this and that. And if they didn't take that high ground sort of about their diversity and what it means about the game of baseball, and then I wouldn't care, but they've sort of built themselves up to be something of an international sport, which it is, and they've used that to their own branding advantage. And when they had the moment to stand up for what it is they say they are, which is a diverse, welcoming sport, I feel like they didn't, and they took the cowardly way out.
I think you're right.
And so it'd be one thing if you were like, hey, this is baseball. It's a tough sport. You might get racially taunted, blah, 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 blah. And I go, oh, okay, sure. But when you're selling us that that is not what you are and that you're a international welcoming thing and then you don't stand up for it, I say, oh, you're just selling us this international thing and this diverse thing as part of a marketing tool. And when it comes, the time
I think there's some, I'm
that rubbed me bad. That rubbed me the wrong way.
totally get it. Totally get it. And we could talk about that on another podcast. I have a baseball podcast, a diversity in baseball podcast. But you're right about that. They could have done that. They suspended them after. See, you're not missing much, Matt, by not following
A player
baseball.
during the World Series, a player on the other team, while an Asian guy was pitching, after getting a hit off him, went in the dugout, made Asian eyes at him with his fingers, and this is like
Sounds romantic. You made Asian
You know what I
eyes at
mean?
me.
He like spread his eyes so
Yeah.
it looked like and he didn't really get in trouble.
Oh.
And our manager's also part Asian, and we have like a few Asian players on our team. It's like it was pretty bad, I thought.
Did the guy
Asians-
ever apologize?
He
did.
did, but he didn't get in trouble until next season. They didn't. It was the middle of the World Series, and instead of being like, "Hey, you can't play the next game," they're like, "You can't play for a few games next
What's
season."
the Asian culture? He accepted the apology. You
Right.
Darvish. I don't know how what it's in Asian culture. Do they ignore that kind of stuff?
I don't even think it's about that. Again, I think it comes down to the way Major League Baseball represents itself to
You're
their
right.
fans, and I don't think they lived up to the way they're representing themselves.
You
And
know
that
what?
made me feel taken.
Taken, like the movie. But you know what? You gave it another shot, and the Dodger. You did talk about Dodger fans real quick. They are kind of negative at times.
Yes, and
Negative energies.
and they don't always know a lot about baseball. In fact, rarely do
They're
they.
loud.
They're loud, and oftentimes they're so negative that they're yelling at their own team. You know what I mean? Where they'll be like,
Yeah.
screw this guy, or cursing at the guy coming to the bat. And it's like, what are you yelling at?
Yeah.
Like if you're not here to support your team.
There's a reason why the Dodgers haven't won the World Series since 1988. There's a lot of negativity in those stands, and players feed off the stands.
Right.
I'm not saying it's impossible, but the baseball gods look down on that sort of thing.
I wouldn't say that's why. I'd say
Think it matters. I think
It can, but I think the 90s we were taken for a ride. We went through so many different ownerships' hands, and no one really cared. So I think we lost a lot of time there.
What about the 18 years since 2000?
Again, we just got new owners a few years ago.
But look at
we were bankrupt for
look
a
at the
year.
Padres. They never win. Those fans, I'm not saying they're negative. They just don't light that fire for them. You know, you also have Mariners, never won. Those are angry fans up there. Twins, haven't won since like the 80s or early 90s. Weird stuff going on in Minnesota. I think the city, a lot of like Boston is always a competitive team. These fans demand it. Even though they could be rough, they demand it. Yankee fans demand it. Philly fans, they demand it.
They also have the highest payrolls.
I understand payroll matters, but something about these Northeastern fans that push them. Dodger fans, it's laid back. You know,
I don't know. The Giants are a Bay Area team, and they have one of the most successful franchises of the last couple decades.
They did it. I'm not saying the Giants didn't do it. The Giants did it. The Giants figured it out, and they won. They put it together, and they made it happen in a crazy liberal city. I'm saying it's hard to win. Not liberal. I take that back. But some of these cities, you know, but they've always. San Francisco's a little different. San Francisco, their fans are pretty good. They have good sports fans.
Do you think any of the players ever feel like, you know, like they go out and play it in the middle, in the Midwest, and like there's just a bunch of anti-Semites that come out to the games, and
There may be in the
it's
minor
holding
leagues.
the Jewish
So you're
players
saying
back.
anti-Semites are good for baseball players? You
Good for
want
baseball,
anti-Sem-
bad for comedy.
I'm saying that all I know is, like, if you go see a baseball game outside of LA, you go see a game in Cincinnati or Kansas City or Arizona even, or Houston, Dallas, it's so mellow compared to like Yankee Stadium and Dodger Stadium. There's like, that's why these teams win. That's why there's like,
Cincinnati doesn't win.
they don't win. I'm saying because there's no energy there. There's
Right.
nothing going on there.
Right.
LA, there's something going on, but it's a little on the negative side.
Some of the
there's
analytics
something.
is bothering me, and that's another reason why I'm just losing some enthusiasm.
But I just think being baseball is,
It's about being positive.
well, on the team, you
It
want
is.
positive guys, and you want your fans to be supportive, but, you know, also like keep you accountable.
Yeah.
But you don't want negativity in your clubhouse. You want comedy, you want uplifting energy, and you want guys who care. A lot of these guys, they don't always care about winning. They're making so much money, or they're young and they're making money, or some guys just don't care. They just want to like have good stats. There's a lot of that going on with some of these young kids, so you have to kind of connect with them. Even if you're an older guy, sometimes you don't want to win, but I think you got to care. Boston cares about winning, because when you win, people don't understand. If you win a Dodgers, the Dodgers won this year, forever they're known. It's not about money. It's about you forever. You're always going to be associated with that. There's something special about winning that allows other things to happen. You know, I'm not all about winning, but winning allows for some cool things to happen.
Yeah, if the Dodgers had won one of these two last seasons, all of those players would have been, you know. All right,
We got to wrap it up. Guys, great job tonight. Thank you, Benji. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Eric Aligny. Thank you, All Things Comedy. Thank you, Emma. This has been Stephen Brody Stevens, Festival of Friendship, Festival of Sports. Check us out on iTunes. Check us out on All Things Comedy. Have a great week. Yes!